critique. We are back again for another week, another show. How's it hanging, Ellie? Have you been doing
Well,
time?
we don't talk before streaming at all, so you have no idea what I've been doing. And
we literally just materialized into
yeah,
existence. Nothing happens behind the scenes ever. So yeah, no, we're having a good time today.
and
We're
I'm
gonna
definitely
be
just not now making the stream title for the actual
yeah.
while you talk.
Yeah. So we're gonna be covering an interesting one. It's another one where the guy changed the title on us.
Yeah, but this time I'm not surprised.
Yeah, yeah. Because the original title, I believe, was something called. Let me find it because it'll be in the chat. Because I linked.
Like
the original title of this video was the capitalist dystopia of Monica Magica. And I was the one that found this one because it showed up on Twitter. Someone tweeted about. That's a good way to let me know about videos is to tweet tweet them at me. If you tweet them at me with like a screenshot and if the thumbnail and the thing is spicy enough, I'll be like, ooh, hello. Yes, because people were talking about it on Twitter, and I saw a bunch of people comment on it, and I was like, "Ooh, that looks like it'll be fun." And then, Ellie, you pre-watched it a little bit, and you thought it was boring as shit.
Yeah, because
you thought it was boring as shit.
Spoilers. I saw the original title, and I saw the the redone title, and I have seen Madoka, so I thought, oh, I know what this argument is when I saw the thumbnails and titles, and then I watched the video. Oh yeah, this is definitely what I thought it was going to be. This is bland as fuck, no depth, so superficial. And then
yeah, but I'm like, I pre-watched a little bit too, and I was like, look, Ellie, we can shit on this. This is gonna be great. What do you mean? What do you mean this is going to be boring? We're gonna have a grand old time. We're gonna own this, man.
Which is kind of true.
Easy week. This is an easy week for us. We're gonna, but yes, it's time to capitalize on the magical girls. It's great because we get to talk about magical girls twice in this episode because we'll talk about gushing later. Yeah, because that was a good episode today. So anyway, yeah, let's hop on over to the video screen and we'll get right into it, I guess.
I got my drawing pen out. Oh, I have to.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have big drawers, big drawing, big art today.
Oh, wait, one second.
So, yeah, let me know when you're ready to rock.
Ooh, sorry. No, I changed a little bit reorganization in the OBS.
Why are 90% of this guy's videos about Steins Gate? I don't know. Maybe the man just likes Steins Gate. But the new title is "You Are the Real Monster of Madoka Magica."
Bad news, Nretsew. My pen didn't charge, so no drawing today.
Oh, all right. Well, here's Sammy's conditioning. Here we go. There you go. You get your can crack. Can't start the stream without it. And where's he's gonna get? Yeah, there we go. There he goes. Right. Let's get into
this video is about capitalism and little girls. But first...
Off to a great start. This video is about capitalism and little girls. Is this Vosh, Ellie?
I don't think so. Mainly because...
Are we talking about Vosh? No,
you refuse to do that video about Vosh, you know.
I mean, maybe we should. Maybe we could go back to it. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, let's keep going because he hasn't actually made a point yet. Let's keep going.
Yes.
Tell me, have you ever noticed how very industrial the world of Madoka Magica is? What's with all the pipes and the turbines and the factories? And what's with the cars? No, seriously, what's with the cars? Let's back up. What even is a magical girl? To Madoka Magica, it's the purity and spirit of youth manifest into this hyper-sexualized type of superhero. And just like the...
Rising question mark?
So, Ellie, capitalism is when industrial? Capitalism is when industrialization occur. Is with big smoke pipes, right? Big smoke pipes means big capitalism, right? Right.
Now, there are, of course, symbolisms, and big factories in the background can mean foreboding and corrupting of on nature and whatnot.
Nature versus technology. Yeah, like this is a common problem we have with people that have these weird interpretations, right? It's almost kind of like what's happening on Twitter right now with the Mimi short. Even though we don't do anything in the background before the stream, I was mentioning to Ali about that.
Yeah, it's
current
suddenly
debates.
a voice in my head said stuff.
Voice in your head. Yeah. But the me interpretation stuff happening on Twitter right now that I've been involved in, right? There's this weird kind of tendency I find for people to kind of project their own sort of weird ideological lens viewpoints onto works rather than kind of try and assess the work for itself. Because okay, if we're gonna say, industrialization equals capitalism, well, yeah, obviously, because that's what industrialization.
Well,
is,
that's not even
part of the
that's
part
much
of the
true,
rise
because
to capitalism, right?
But Nretsew, I have to push back, because the image of the factories is the image of the workers, not of the landowners. The landowners are in suits and whatnot, so images of factories are more of an images of labor.
That is actually true, yeah. So you could probably say, God, I'm really trying here, Elio. My brain is, but I have fucking smoke coming out of my skull, right? My brain is working at like 500% capacity to come up with this shit, right? You could say that the factories are symbolic of the magical girl's labor to protect the people from the witches, and it's all part of the it's making a deep point about emotional labor that women have to go through in society to be able.
Well, Nretsew, I'll give my quick. If I want to say that match, this might be better for the end of the video, but whatever.
All right. Well. You could save it if you want.
Nah, I'm going to say it. If you want factories to be a part of your magical girl of Madoka, say Madoka analysis, I would go more of the angle of a process, of a product that the girls are in this case products processed. Not necessarily in a capitalist sense, but more of a of a resource being extracted.
Right. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. I don't actually believe any of that shit. I was just pulling that out my ass.
Yeah, that's why I'm going with something a little bit more serious.
Which, I think that's a much better interpretation that you could have, rather than just, because I think a lot of it, we'll get back to the video in a sec after this point, right? But I think that a lot of it is people get kind of triggered triggered in the sense that they see something and they, like, the pattern recognition in their brain kind of goes, ooh, sexism, ooh, capitalism, ooh, I understood that, right? And I think that kind of blinds people a lot of the time into these really weird kind of pigeonholed, like, perspectives on things.
Yeah,
but anyway, let's
go and continue.
Let's see what he has to say. Yeah. See what he has to say.
Industry eating away at the natural world, creating this false, idyllic sense of nature with its neatly trimmed riverbanks. The magical girl is a perversion of this youth, capturing something natural and beautiful and transforming it into a neatly sterile and manufactured product for consumption. So instead of being about this girl who gains superpowers and saves the world, it's about her being protected from those superpowers as Akemi tries again and again to stop Madoka.
You know how many shows are about the main character actually being told not to do a thing and having to do it in the end anyway? How much of Naruto is about not using the fox because the fox is super duper dangerous, the nine-tailed fox.
Yeah, the fox wants to big fuck up everyone.
So Naruto, whatever you do, don't release the fox. It has massive power.
You'll kill everyone. Yeah, you'll kill everyone. Yeah.
And eventually he befriends the fox, so it becomes alright in the end. But at least 100 chapters of Naruto was about how dangerous that damn fox is and how bad.
Yeah,
how
but
you-
look, Ellie, Naruto is about capitalism. Okay, you don't just.
It's about human greed and how it has to be
God,
locked away.
I'm having great flashbacks. This is from do you remember some of our earliest work, right? Some of our earliest work doing critical critique stuff, I believe, wasn't like the very first thing we did was that Zarya thing that one time.
No, the very
That
first was about slime, and I think it was Gigo.
Well, no, publicly it was about slime, but we did that Zarya video. I think.
Maybe. Yeah.
We might have done that. Yeah, I think we did that before. We did one Zarya video before slime, but that was just us in a VC.
Oh yeah, it was kind of as a test. It was kind of
it was like a test run, yeah. And then we did slime, and then later on we did the Kaguya-sama video from Zarya, which was identifying the identifying communism video.
I like that image. I made it myself.
That was a good image. Yeah, that was a good thumbnail. You did go on that one, but I'm having flashbacks to that kind of thing where I believe a lot of the points that we made back in the day when it came to that kind of stuff is like, yeah, okay, you can, if you squint hard enough, you can definitely find capitalism and communism and everything, but the question is whether or not that's actually a useful analysis, right? Like, are you actually getting anywhere with this? Like, for instance, with this guy here, right? As you just pointed out, the idea that, the main character, has power, but power is bad. Power is going to destroy the world if you use it, right? Or I guess in the Madoka Magica sense, because it's been a long time with Madoka Magica, but I believe like it was something along the lines of it's going to lead to like her getting destroyed, and so the long-haired girl is like, no, I love you, don't fucking please.
Yeah, it's a bunch of
right?
things, right?
Yeah, it's a bunch of things, but I recall like that was one sort of aspect dish to it. Again, it's been way too fucking long since I've seen anything Madoka Magica related, so it's kind of like.
So I want to help you out, right? The way in which analysis kind of becomes not useful in the same sense in saying that Dr. Stone feels like an isekai or something, or interspecies reviewers native isekai, but calling it native isekai or calling Dr. Stone isekai doesn't bring anything new, right? It doesn't increase your understanding of Madoka. Though in here, I watched the video and then I knew what I saw the thumbnail and I immediately knew his entire point. This is, I guess, a new understanding of the thing. Yeah, but
I guess, but I'm coming at it from the angle of I don't really, because it's like I said, you can squint hard enough and you could fucking find anything and anything, right? You could chase the ghosts and you'll probably find them, right? So I don't necessarily find that kind of analysis particularly interesting, right? So, but let's continue. Let's see what the man's got to say.
Because magic in this world comes from emotion, and the people with the strongest and fiercest emotions, full of hope and despair, are young girls, each a bottled flame burning brightly before the tempering and maturity of age, instead being smashed to pieces to become a dying supernova of youth. Why do you think their classrooms are made of glass? Because they're on display. All of these girls, all of them, are something to be seen, desired, consumed. The magical girls.
Modern. I think more. Madoka takes place in the near future, right? It's
like modern architecture.
Yeah,
type.
So it's full on modern,
weird, surreal type. I mean, well, there is, I think, like a surrealist element to the architecture and design of Madoka, though, right? I do agree with you that it's meant to be more, not necessarily hyper-futuristic, but semi-futuristic, right? It's in the future. There's these weird, like, the classrooms are in these glass boxes, right? I don't necessarily think that these... I get where he's coming from, right? Like the idea of, they're in these glass boxes and it's because they're on display, like in a zoo, right? And they're just a product to be consumed. Like, I get where, like, I can see how he drew that conclusion. I just don't think
It
that
far
conclusion
more looks
is...
like modern offices.
Yeah. Which, I mean, but then again, I guess that could lead to his point, though, right? Because you
Although,
have offices and capitalism and stuff, right? If we're going to go through that
well,
through
I
line.
thought more of, he said it looks like a display. I thought it more looked like cages in that sense, if you want to go
That too,
symbolism. So, but let's my next point criticism as I watched through this bit still was, damn, he's not putting any qualifiers on his statements.
Yeah, no, he's not.
This show
also, Jake,
is, because I
yeah,
espoused some opinions on this show already by now, and
yeah.
I hope I said in my opinions somewhere in between, or if you want to think it in this way, then I would, etc., etc.
Yeah. So Jake also points out in the chat that the magic comes from wishes, apparently. So
Yeah.
he's kind of wrong about the emotion aspect, right? Just wanted to point that out because I think that's an important correction. The architecture presents itself as social harmony and transparency, high trust. Yeah, high trust. That okay. This is going to get a little sketch show, but this is an interesting because the alt right. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the right wingers, right? The right wingers have this very interesting. Now, Unknown's probably going to kill me because I'm going to butcher this, right? Because he knows more about this than I do, because he's more on that side of the fence, right? In terms of, like, he interacts with those people more, right? But they have this really interesting kind of way of viewing Moe and Slice of Life as a sort of idealized society, right?
Yeah.
Because you have these characters, right? They're in a world where there is no conflict, there's no war, right? It is definitely based on the real world, right, in terms of the thing, but it's an idealized version of reality in which
You mean
these characters...
Nitshishoke?
I think so. Like Slice of
Kukike?
Life. Yeah, like when we're talking about stuff like, because usually K-On! Is like the prime example they use, right? They talk about how all the characters are carefree. They don't have to worry about, being violently assaulted on the streets. They don't have to worry about, all of the kind of stuff that you would normally have to worry about. It's simply a window into this kind of idealized society, and that's supposedly why a lot of right wingers kind of gravitate towards these kind of moe slice of life type shows. Supposedly, right? This is just, again, nonsense, right? But I kind of wanted to talk about that because I feel like when we're talking, because we're mentioning like the cages and the high trust. Jake mentioned the high trust society, right? Well, the right wingers, they kind of want that high trust society, and they want to enforce that high trust society through their their rules and regulations
massive
and
corporate, by massive government oversight of
government
saying.
overseas. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's an interesting perspective to bring up as a contrast to this guy's perspective, which, I mean, obviously he's coming at this from a leftist, communist, type lens, right? So I think it's very interesting to kind of also bring up the fact that the very same thing happens with the right wingers, just in a very different way. So you could say, like, Madoka Magica, right, is presenting this pristine, idealized society where everyone is so high trust. They don't care about seeing each other through the classroom, glass boxes.
Yeah, but the thing is, right? All right. So quick on Cookie K or Show K, one or the other. It is kind of it's Cookie K is just is Japanese for type. And Cookie is air or atmosphere. So Nichijou is daily, everyday life. Yes,
Right.
and so stuff like Nichijou or K-On! Or other of these shows really, really are about mundane things. There is, but also where time doesn't really exist. There's no pressure. There's there's no growth. Everything stays the same forever. And that maybe sounds kind of like a communist, no, not communist, the
conservative,
conservative
conservative, yeah.
dream, but you know, conservative also means that you always complain how better the yesterday was. So I don't think that Cookie K actually works for them in that sense.
Well, maybe, but but you get, yeah. I'm not saying I agree necessarily with that perspective. I'm just saying that is the perspective. And also, Jake, I'm not saying you're right. Don't worry. It's just that it's just I saw the words, high trust society, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's a thing that I've heard before when I've talked to, because obviously I talk to people on both sides of the aisle, and I've had them explain this stuff to me, right? So I kind of get it, but because I'm
yeah, but
I'm still a dumb perv at the end of the day, right?
but Cookie Case, Nretsew Case, and kind of the spectrum that those shows exist in, also kind of lack any romance or. In that sense, character growth is kind of lacking in that sense.
Direct romance as well, I guess, because
no, it's only like hints, because even stuff in K-On! Or Nretsew,
implication,
Mio's crush in Nretsew never goes anywhere, and that's kind of the point, that there's never a growth in character in that sense. I mean, Nano grows, but that's enough talk about Nretsew.
Yeah, let's get back into it.
They exist to consume the grief and despair of the world, and it in turn consumes them as they burn up their youth and exhaust into a sinking pit of despair themselves. Magical girls hunt witches, hunt monsters, but when we learn that witches are the inevitable end of a magical girl's life, this leaves the question of who the real monsters in this story are. Is it the cute and fuzzy magical girl incubators? Or is it us? I mean, think
big, big. Oh, I gotta give him props for the presentation in terms of he's building up that hype, right? He's going, is it the cute magic, or is it us? I almost expected those movie trailers where they got the dong, right? They got the bong, right?
In that sense, this video could have been a little bit more memey, with a finger pointing, towards us.
Yeah, to you. yeah. Is it the magical girl mascot or you? Oh god.
But no, in that, I far more see a in that sense a kind of environmentalism message in that sense. But Madoka, you can see Madoka in many different ways. I just don't see this in the way this is being brought as a useful new way of looking at Madoka. Still.
Also, I like chaotic horny. Very, very, very good, Sammy. Very good. But anyhow, let's keep going.
Think about the first girl they meet. This beautiful, blonde, older girl, confident and successful, living a life of luxury. Only, in reality, she's a 15-year-old girl with no family or friends and who spends 100% of her time working. This is not a role model. This is a walking red flag in an ethically questionable push-up bra. And the irony of her life is that she's someone these girls fucking admire, someone they look up and aspire to, someone they see as almost inhuman in her success and her grace. And the thing is, this isn't just what mommy wants them to see, it's what they want to see. They can't see her for who she really is, a lonely little girl whose only other choice was to literally die along with her parents in a horrible car crash. Because she isn't human. She's not real. She's an idol. She's a lie, a fiction, an image manufactured.
This is getting
chill the fuck out, bro.
Because Nami's problem is indeed that she put out on front and wanted to be so much of a front that it's distracted her from actually fighting in that sense. But whose fault is that? That is interpersonal stuff. That's a trauma of her not being good enough.
Yeah, it's not society made me do it, right? I don't think, because this is, it's weird because this is a common thing that is true. A lot of time, people obviously have idols, right? Everyone has idols in some respect, right? You look up to like an artist, right? Or something that you admire their work and you like their work, you want to imitate their work. Speaking at this from an artist perspective, right? Like there's plenty. Like we have the concept of artist models in art teaching for a reason, right? Because it helps you become better at your art, right? So everyone does have idols, and it can be, you only really see one side of the idol, right? Typically, right? In more modern times, I think to the detriment of how things have been going, I feel like idols have become a bit too open about their attachments. Speaking about idols in a general sense, but I guess I could hone it in on YouTubers as an example, just to make this easier to understand, right? Like YouTubers, you'll see the YouTuber on camera in the video. That is a person, right? That is a version of that person. But as soon as that camera switches off, right, they typically should be allowed to have a personal life, right, with their own, desires and wants, and they go to the dairy and they buy some booze or whatever, and then they have a drink, right, and or whatever. They're imperfect humans, right, behind the screen. And that can be kind of devastating sometimes, to have an idol and then find out, oh, my idol is not, this perfect, pristine, because he mentions, she's this blonde, busty, pristine girl who's highly skilled at the magical stuff, right? And she's got this front of being capable and, whatnot. And then once you find out that behind those layers, right, it's, she's just a normal fucking girl, right? That could, the idol comes crashing down on you, right?
Yeah, but the problem, Nami's problem is what I see. Nami's problem is in a sense. It's been a while since I actually watched Madoka, so also a problem on my end. In that
well, we've got Jake in the chat.
The Madoka experts, apparently.
Yeah, he will correct us if we fuck up.
So from what I remember, at least, right? Nami is very concerned about her image, and she wants to look good and confident and perfect for Sayaka and Madoka. So much so it killed her, because she felt she wanted to be relied upon, from what I understand, because she was so helpless. I was so incredibly helpless, the most helpless being you've ever seen.
You were in a fucking car crash, yeah.
And you almost died, and now I can be the one who saves other people. That's amazing. You can make up for your past helplessness by being the reliable rock for others, and that is kind of good.
But that obviously comes at a cost, right?
The cost of not caring as much about yourself anymore, to the point that you
it becomes self-destructive.
You become too.
And that's not. And the thing is, to loop back to the video, that's not like a communism, capitalism thing. That's just a human thing, right? That's not like that to me. That's not like I don't think that's something that's directly tied to capitalism. I don't think people doing that is
Nretsew, one last point before me, maybe at least we'll move on. Oshinoko.
Yeah, we all know Oshinoko.
Aqua.
We talked about it at length.
Aqua saw Hoshino die before his eyes.
Yes.
Next time we meet him, next time we see him, in the show, he's sneaking on his sister's phone, faking that she is failed audition, socially manipulating everybody around him to do whatever he wants. That is a certain control over others, because Aqua had no control over when his mother died.
Right.
In his kind of paranoia of seeing his mother die and being so helpless, he is going to kiss Akane and get her to love him, in a sense, so he can get stuff out of what he will get stuff info from her, because that's the way, so he can stay in control of the situation, because otherwise
Right.
people around him die, and I can't have people die around him. I have to be in control at all times, and if
Right.
if I need to manipulate other people for it, so be it. If I'm in control, everything will be all right, and that's the trauma, and that's kind of also the trauma that I see in
and of
Nami.
course, and of course, it's all capitalism's fault, isn't it?
Well,
but anyhow,
if therapy was free, then
but can you imagine, like, Aqua goes to therapy, end of the series, end of Oshinoko, goes to therapy, gives up, becomes big star,
yes,
end of the
who
series.
is Aqua seeking revenge for?
Yeah, exactly.
To regain a sense of control over the stuff that he lost.
Yeah. And I mean that could also extend to, like, because obviously he died and got resurrected, right? Like he what's the bigger loss of control than dying, right?
Well, he was kind of okay with dying because it was kind of a mystery, and he had an idea what it was about. So yeah, dying sucks for him, but it was a somewhat preventable situation, and he kind of knew what was going on.
Still a traumatic experience, though. Let's be real.
He seemed to get over it over the 5 years.
Well, I'm digging too deep. We need to get back to the before we start getting into weird rabbit holes.
Told to them as some fucked up ideal, and what this all reminds me of is the.
Okay, well, I know he's about to make his point, but I just kind of want, because he keeps talking about selling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Selling the magical girl. So selling to who, right? Is he talking about is it selling it to the audience, or is it like, because he's specifically talking about that character, right? He's talking about that character. Is that being sold to the other girls, right? Or is that being sold to the viewer in a meta sense? I'm not. Instructions unclear, right? Instructions unclear. Not quite sure what you're on. I would assume he's talking about the viewer just because of the context of the video, right? Like, I would assume that's what he means, but it's very vague, right?
I have a sort of answer, right? He
let him cook.
Well, I'm going to stop his cooking because it's overdone. Because it's overdone. I think he just went way deep into it, and went every form of give and take relationship, push and pull is transaction. And every transaction is capitalism, and therefore,
because
if she puts on, she gives confidence and care to others, that's because she's an idol, therefore she sells her idleness, and idol culture is bad, etc.
Let him cook his half baked.
Nah, it's burnt, Jake. It's completely burnt.
It's burnt. It's burnt. Alright, let's go.
Reality show 16 with JYP, the one that produced Twice. Yes, that Twice. It's a fascinating look into the K-pop
I don't know
industry,
that Twice.
how it takes these.
I'm not a K-pop man. I don't follow the K-pops or the idols, so I don't quite know. I don't know any of this. But
see, he's going to idols. This is exactly what I was saying.
Yeah. It is. It is kind of what you were saying, right? Your future sight strikes again.
Yeah.
Right? This time, real future sight. You actually watched the video. But no, like I don't see the connection between emotional transaction, if we're going to call it that, right? Because that's what it basically is, right? Emotional transaction.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing the link.
Right.
I'm not seeing the link of emotional transaction within the context of the show between the characters as being relatable to idol selling you a product, as in selling you these idols, right? These K-pop idols, right? I'm not seeing the connection between these two things, right? In the context of both the show and real life. But anyway, let's hear about K-pop.
Well, 1 second, Jake. Yeah, I think he knows more about K-pop than J-pop, and in a sense, I'm not too bothered by the difference.
No, I mean the difference is pretty minute. Like there is obviously a difference, but I'm pretty sure it's probably
Yeah,
minuscule.
he could.
I think the Japanese, like I think both the Japanese and the Koreans have kind of industrialized their idol.
Yeah, and
culture
if he would
to a
go
sense.
bring up some American Idol, young
I
idol in
actually,
America, then it's
who was it? Someone, I think it was the guy that does those really long videos about theme park rides. He did one about the American Idol experience.
Mhm.
Can't remember his name. I think it's like Defunct Land. It's a really long. It's like an hour-long video, but it's actually really interesting because he talks about the history of American Idol. You know that show, right? The
Yeah.
show with the
Idols were
right?
originated in the Netherlands. The
Yeah.
idea
Oh,
came
there
from
you
there.
go. Yeah,
Like a
Defunct Land. Yeah. It was Defunct Land. Yeah, he had a video about American Idol. It was very interesting to kind of because obviously those kind of performance idol type shows, sort of exactly like what he's showing on screen right now, where you have the contestants competing to become get a record label or to the opportunity to have a chance to become big singer or whatever, right? It's interesting how like that similar concept is kind of the same across cultures, right? In a sense, it's not. I don't think it's necessarily as different as people make it out to be, right?
Although, of course, it is industrialized over in Asia, in a bunch of Asian countries.
Probably to a more of an extent, but I'm just saying. I think it's like you can't. America is not free from sin. Is basically what I'm saying. But anyway, let's keep going.
Young girls' hopes and dreams and chews them up and spits them out for profit. And
What's
what
that sensor
shows
thing
us
on the
is
bottom,
the
though?
reason K-pop is so
I don't know.
successful is because despite being so manufactured, what we get
Lyrics?
is the most endearing.
I don't know, maybe. But
Yeah, I'm just.
let's let him cook. Let him cook.
And authentic performers out there because there's simply passionate young girls chasing their dreams, fueling an industry that exists by devouring the hopes and dreams of youth. And just like Madoka Magica, what makes 16 so good is that there's just something so emotionally compelling about manipulating.
So
He likes the show.
fun fact. Well, I mean, he likes it, but he's probably going to talk about how he hates it. But fun fact, a lot of these shows are fake. Well, I'd say fake, but not like... Okay, so to use the American Idol example, right? Because that was the video I watched, right? The way they did that was... So obviously you had like the big auditions, right?
Mhm.
And on the show, it's presented as like you have hundreds of thousands of people showing up to these auditions and they go through the judges and... they pick out the ones that are, kind of funny or kind of bad, right?
Yeah.
But the way it actually works is you would have obviously the ones that were the actual presenters, right? Like the actual presenters, judges, right? But then there would be other like judges in these little kind of office rooms, right?
Yeah.
And they would filter people into those guys, and those guys would look at the person, or they'd have a demo of the person sing or whatever, or maybe they have a goofy outfit or whatever, and they'll go, yeah, you seem like you'd be fun to have on TV. You get to go, and then you go to the next level, right?
Yeah.
Or you get rejected, right? So they're already filtering out, right, and trying to construct the narrative of, okay, we want okay, here are some people that are actually talented, right, and have some actual like promise.
And here are some people that the audience will like, but they will lose and it will become.
Here's some people that the audience can relate to. Here's some people that or maybe here's some like meme people, right? Some people that are just like they're so bad that they're funny, right? And they can put them up to entertain, right? So what I'm getting at here is, he's not making a very salient point here because it's obviously this is manufactured, right? Obviously they had auditions with these girls. They picked out the ones they thought that they were cutest, the ones that could sing, the ones that couldn't sing. They mixed a few of them in together, and then over the course of the show, right? I don't know if they do viewer voting or not, right? But like over the course of the show, they'll start eliminating people. They'll create narratives. Maybe you'll have two of the girls fight each other or whatever, or there'll be beef.
So
rivals, right?
I have two shows. I like. I watch the BBC so now and again. There are two shows that I like to watch: Dragon's Den, Do you know Dragon's Den?
Yes, I do know Dragon's Den. Yeah,
It's kind of cool. Have you
is.
watched the BBC Dragon's Den?
I've seen a bit of it. Yeah, I've seen a
Do
bit.
you know
of it.
that they go into the elevator?
Yes, the big elevator. Yeah.
That's not an elevator. That's just a straight hallway.
But that's what I mean, right? They're creating a narrative, right? They're creating a feel.
Yeah, and there was
Vibe,
so
right?
to finish the point. There was one season of Great British Bake Off where this was just one bald dude who was just.
Oh yeah, I think you mentioned this like years ago.
I might
you were
have.
watching the great. Yeah, you were watching the. You talked about you were watching the Great British Bake Off or something, and how it was like actually fucking entertaining and epic because of this bald guy. Or
This-
something.
You
I'll
know,
let you finish. I'll let you
yeah,
finish,
so-
'cause I'm just saying I vaguely remember something.
All right,
about this,
so
yeah.
there was an epic competition. At least it was an exciting competition, and Great British Bake Off is more, they're not mean to each other like Hell's Kitchen or so. I saw some terrible American show where they had to sabotage each other. But the thing was that this bald guy was just very good, and he wasn't very social.
So he was autistic, basically.
So he was just going through he was just went through every week, but there was no story about him. The camera, he didn't show up on the TV in the actual show all that much.
He's just there being
He
a
was
giga
he was just there, and I kind of suspect, right? Eventually, he was voted off, judged off.
Right.
And I think the judges kind of just took the first chance they could when he made a mistake. All right, one mistake, he's out.
To get rid of him.
Get rid of him. He's boring to watch. Because the other people were funny or, weird or had some fun tale. And this bald guy had no story, no interests. He just came on, baked good enough to get through the week, and then went home.
Right.
Anyway, that's my story about watching semi-manufactured TV show.
We've gone off the rails, but basically my point is, he's not. This isn't like. I don't think this is a deep take, right? I don't think it's a deep take to be like, oh, these reality TV shows are fake /
I don't think he actually said they were fake. He said just
no, but I think that's the vibe I'm getting because he's talking about how it's manufactured, right? He's talking about how
I kind of think he means more of like the idol talents themselves, but that's a separate point.
Maybe, but I don't know. Maybe again, it's been I've actually completely forgotten why we're doing this. Good sign that we should keep going.
And abusing a bunch of 14-year-olds. You think I'm joking? Let's take a look. So, 16 is this talent show made to decide the 7 members of JYP's newest girl group twice. Think of it like American Idol, only several times more invasive and also 100% made up of people with the strange expectation that the literal years of their lives spent training under this company to become idols would mean they would become idols. Instead, they're randomly told that they need to compete in some competition where if you lose, you'll be immediately cast aside, never have dreams again, and probably die alone. Oh.
So, I don't know how it's like in Korea, right? Because I don't follow the Korean reality TV television, but I know of American Idol, funnily enough, oftentimes it was the losers that actually won in the end and got, bigger careers than the winners sometimes, and we're more
because the winners are forced into very binding and constrictive contracts, while the losers.
Well, not even just that, but like people, because it's like you said with it's like with your bald dude, right? On American, because you remember him, right? You remember him. He was entertaining. You liked him, right?
Well, he was an anomaly in that sense.
Well, yeah, he was an anomaly, so you found him interesting, right? Same thing kind of happens with stuff like American Idol, where you'll have like a guy that you'll like, right? And then once they get kicked off the show, right? Like typically, like if they're in like the top 10, right, or something, that's usually the zone where you can sort of bounce back, right? usually they'll go off and then, hey, maybe they'll do their own thing, or they'll get a deal with something else, or they'll like it's not like the record companies are just gonna like toss a guy to the side because they came second, right?
Oh
You know?
no, even
Like-
stuff like in Dragon's Den and Nretsew, stuff
Yeah.
they reject outright on the show. Sometimes they'll just sign contracts later.
Yeah, or sometimes they'll be
or big money.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted the company on the board on the show, but once they actually
some
saw the
other-
numbers, they all pulled out right away. So Dragon's Den also is kind of a lie because afterwards
So-
everything can change.
I just kind of wanted to bring that up because, like I said, I don't know what it's like in Korea. I don't know if these girls lose, they just get executed, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what it. Because I feel like he's hyping this up a bit too much. He's making it sound like, oh, the girls lost into the meat grinder, right? And just toss them feet first into a
The only thing I would say in support of this point is that if the idol industry in Korea is so industrialized that there is that you can actually throw people away in these shows.
Yeah. So
also,
that's what I mean.
To the point of remembering the losers, something like X Factor, maybe American thing. There's a show where you can have different talents, and judges say, "Nah, you're out," or "No, you're pretty good." Apparently, and every talent is alright, but it's always a singer that wins. But I only see clips of people doing fun stuff, like the dance group with the LEDs on the clothes. So they do some, in the dark choreographed dancing with symbols and lines on their
and
coats
that
make
fun stuff. Yeah.
Or as kind of a quick artist, a quick painter that can paint the face of a judge in those 30 seconds that she has. She lost right away in front of the judges, but I remember her. I remember that dance group.
You remember it, yeah. Missed the opportunity to name that. I naughty or twice, yeah. All right, let's keep going.
And not just your performance, but also your entire life will be broadcast on public television this entire time. Good luck. Stress doesn't even come close to describing this nightmare of a show. Did I mention they're all like 14? Let me give you just a few examples of the things that happened on it. I mean, besides the part where they isolate the losers and deliberately treat them like shit, there's the bit where the youngest member is a 13-year-old who came from Thailand by her fucking self to become an idol, only to have to compete on this sick fucking show before inevitably losing and signing on to some C-tier agency where she's almost certainly making literal, not figurative, literal slave wages. There's the episode where they made them vote on which of their peers they think are good people. Again, they're 14 and this was being aired to millions of people. Oh.
Okay.
Why does he like the show then?
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know if he said that he.
Oh, he said
it
right at the beginning of this section. He said he likes the show or something.
Well, but is this like one of those things where it's like critical consumption, right?
Don't think so.
Where it's like, oh, I'm critically consuming the thing that I think is a giant detriment to society, right? But it's okay though because I'm critical of it, right?
I have a secret, right? I actually, I only watched like the first core of Slime.
Yeah.
I did go back and watch, or speed watch the entire everything that Slime has up to this point.
Oh yeah, you're getting ready for the next season, are you?
Nah, I'm not really. I just wanted to have a slightly more, broader understanding of how Slime is doing, and no, I don't think that's Rimuru deliberately killing off entire regiments of an army that didn't know what they were doing over there just to save a handful of his own people was justified. Nretsew, the enemy army,
critical.
The army of the enemy is there on all orders and doesn't know what's going on. Meanwhile,
but
some people,
kill them all. Yeah.
yeah, some of your own, your dad dies. He was killed.
Your dad dies. Yeah.
Time to get that enemy army with those kind of innocent soldiers in a sense, right? Mass murder to resurrect your father. That's all right.
So yeah, critical consumption, but it's okay because you critically consume. Okay, I'm gonna stop memeing about that, but you get what I'm saying though, right? Like he's making this out like it's this horrible thing, and it's like I can agree, right? Like yeah, sure, like on like a general sense, it's like yeah, putting 14-year-olds or whatever through this stuff is pretty morally sketch, right? But at the same time, I'm not the one like supporting that industry. I'm not the one watching the K-pop American Idol show or buying the merch or buying the fucking
giving them views.
Giving them views, right? I'm not the one out here making a YouTube video basically like talking about it and putting it into the eyes of more people, right? Like I'm, that's where I'm kind of having a bit of a hiccup here because he's making it out to be it's right wingers do this too, right? Where they'll be like, "Oh, I fucking hate the lewd stuff. Lewd stuff is so bad. Oh, I hate it." And then you look at their likes and it's just all fucking lolicon,
all
right?
fanboys.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like it's all itchy. It's all lolicon or it's all like
fanboys.
Fucking fanboy shit, right? And I'm just sitting here like you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? If you think that this stuff is legitimately harmful to society, you don't get to fucking be like, oh no, but I'm a fan of it and I'm critically consuming it, so it's okay, it's fine. No.
Alright, let's see how much more we know that K-pop is bad. Let's see how.
K-pop bad, and I will agree with the chat, right? That this man, like, he really should have made an Oshi no Koi video because this would have made a lot more sense if he wasn't talking about fucking nah, bro, it's for research. Like if he was talking about Oshi no Ko instead of Madoka Magica, I think he'd have like a much more solid point because he spent a lot of time talking about this K-pop stuff, right? So let's
kind of. I was saying.
You get a point, and then we'll
he seems far more interested in the exploitation of youth than Madoka itself in this moment.
Yeah. Like if this was a video about specifically how the idol industry exploits, kids, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right, that's a good video to make. No one wants kids getting exploited. Like that might be something to talk about. Maybe, but anyway.
Not forget the part where when one of the girls ran to the bathroom to cry after a particularly bad performance and they followed her to the bathroom because of course they would, but that's not the bad part. No, the bad part is when one of the other members asked them to not film in the bathroom. Not only did they keep filming, they literally put her asking them to stop filming in the fucking show because when you've gone this far, just stick the last few inches in, I guess.
일주일 만에 찍기로 진짜 침대에 누워있는 이렇게 침대에 있고 자려고 하잖아. 뭔가 못 일어날 것 같아서 무서워서 눈물이 나는.
Yeah, K-pop bad.
Yeah.
We can all agree K-pop bad, right? But another thing I will say, okay, this part, right, I don't think this is fake, but I could very much believe, like, the filming in the restroom thing. Like, come on. Like, as much as I can believe that that's real, I can also believe that that's staged. Like, again, like, drama.
I don't think
Big
they
drama.
actually need much staging. I think you can...
You probably don't, no, that's the thing. Like, it's really, like, in question when you're... Because these are, like, okay, yes, they're kids, right? Supposedly, right? But they are still somewhat professionally trained actors in a sense, right? Because they're performers, right? So just, similar to Oshi no Koi in the sense that, they are actors, right?
In a
sense. I wouldn't put it past them to kind of be like, let's create this scenario where she runs into the toilet and she starts crying and then we have the other girl saying not to film, but you film anyway because, like, I can 100% believe that could be staged, right? I'm not saying that I can't prove that, obviously, right? but I wouldn't put it past, right? The TV show things to do that. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, can we get back to Madoka Magica now? I think I get it. I think I get it, right? I get it. K-pop bad. Okay.
Look, sure, arguably the main reason this is so interesting is because it's a pivotal moment in the lives of 16 young girls, but let's not pretend the emotional abuse on play here didn't make this so much more raw than it otherwise would have been. I mean,
he likes it so much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like self-reporting a little bit here, Bucko. You just like man,
so
all
interesting.
Abuse. Yeah, all this abuse. These girls are getting put through the ringer. They're being emotionally manipulated. They're being treated like absolute dog shit. But god damn, it was fun to watch. Like, what the fuck are you saying, bro? Yeah, Samu's on point. It's like, nah, bro, the CP has such good character development. Man, the Dutch angle, bro. like, fuck, man. I can't get these people, you know? Oh, God, all right. Now he's going to talk about males, I guess. Like, now, I guess, is this going to be like the disclaimer of,
let's see.
Okay,
anyway.
well, we'll find out. We'll find out. Let's see.
In every reality show JYP and every other idol company has put on after this has been so safe and uninspired and boring.
He's like a fucking expert on this shit. He's like every single one after this has been playing it safe since. It's like, all right.
So I have to assume, right, assumptions all around, that oh damn, that show is kind of bad. Let's not manipulate. Let's not do such emotional stress on those young kids.
Maybe they got a lot of feedback from the viewership saying, "Hey, that was a bit too far."
And now he's going to say, "Oh, those other shows that don't manipulate the kids as much.
They're kind of shit.
They're boring."
All right, let's see.
Oh no.
Because
you just did. Yeah. Hang on. We gotta go back. We gotta get a live action replay, right? Nretsew live action replay on this
pretend the emotional abuse on play here didn't make this so much more raw than it otherwise would have been. I mean, there's a reason every reality show JYP and every other idol company has put on after this has been so safe and uninspired and boring. Because
he wants the abuse. He yearns for the abuse.
Look, Ellie,
the K-pop fans.
Yearn. Yeah, listen, the plebs yearn for the gladiatorial arena. they yearn for the bread and circus. We must go back to feeding people to lions for entertainment. They yearn for it.
K-pop fans aren't human.
Yeah,
Damn.
Fuck me, dude. Holy shit.
Oh no, Samu, it was Jake.
And you said this video was gonna be boring. What the fuck are you?
I didn't go watch this boring ass K-pop art, but no.
Oh,
Samu, it was Jake. Jake said let him cook.
This is fucking great. I'm having a good time. Let's keep going.
This isn't entirely unlike the world of Madoka Magica. And
all right, here we go. Let's hear it. How is K-pop emotional manipulation and abuse the same as Madoka Magica? Let's go.
The more we step back and start peeling off the layers of the magical girls, the more disturbing they are. The witches, the horrible monsters that are the inevitable end of a magical girl's life. They're these Lovecraftian beings of
Alright, so what are the witches to K-pop?
The girls that get rejected and end up being JAV stars, maybe?
They don't destroy the world. Unless you say society.
Well, unless you think porn is destroying society, I guess, but yeah. Alright, let's see.
madness and insanity, but they aren't nonsensical. They're childish. They're paper crafts and dioramas. They're storybooks and fairy tales. They're candies and sweets. They're drugs and needles. They're fears and anxieties. They're every nook and cranny of children's souls, ripped out of their mortal coil and left to suffer in agony. Because to Kyubey and the magical girl incubators, a soul is merely a burden that, once removed, opens the floodgates to an immeasurable amount of abuse that the body can now take without consequence. And who wouldn't want that? Because to them, bodies are just that. Bodies, objects of use to be plundered and
God, he's so fucking dramatic. So fucking dramatic.
Yes.
God.
All right. I kind of watched the first part and I dropped off when he started talking about K-pops. That was my preview viewing of this video.
All right.
He watched the K-pop things and then he watched Madoka and said they are the same thing.
Totally. They're totally
Yeah.
the same thing. Listen. Once the K-pop, they remove the souls from the K-pop girls and turn them into bodies. Right? They have a machine.
And they are turned into agency contracts, I guess.
Highly profitable, marketable idols.
That then blow up and
raped
destroy the world.
Yeah.
they live past their usefulness and eventually keel over and die, transforming into monsters in a torrent of shame and humiliation, ready to
What are the
spend
monsters
eternity
for the K-pop?
Oh,
lamenting their lost innocence as the tortured shadows of their former selves until they wither away and die, smothered out of existence and consumed by a younger girl still with passion left to burn. Oh sure, the incubators, they claim to be fair and just, to be nothing more than an opportunity, but that's just it. Decisions are only opportunities for people who can make them. Presenting an opportunity to a child who lacks the maturity to understand the consequences of her actions and then lying to her saying she had the freedom to choose the life she did is disgusting.
But he likes
yet-
the K-pop show.
Yeah, but it's disgusting. But goddamn that animation though. Goddamn Ellie, look at how beautiful. Look at her. Look at how beautiful
He
the
already
animation
showed this
is.
clip. He showed this clip 3 times already.
Yeah.
With no
God.
mushroom. I think this video is for himself.
Yeah, he is the monster because
Yes.
he's feeling. We get this fucking projection, man. People do this all the time. I'm gonna project. I have to project my insecurities and my ideological nonsense onto everything around me and every person around me. To the point these guys are gonna make they make literal fan fiction about shit to try and project onto other people. And I'm just like, fuck, man. Oh god. But anyway, let's keep going.
We let this happen every day in front of our eyes as little girls are
We-
paraded around and
I
violated.
am
for-
against that K-pop stuff. You were the one
Yeah,
who's
I'm-
watching it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, because you could, if we're going to talk about a American example, right? You've got what are those child beauty pageant things?
Oh,
that
those
the
are
right
terrible.
wing's
I
always
hate it. I
exactly.
one
like that.
one
I'm not
minute,
gonna.
and I want them banned.
I'm not gonna fucking sit here and fucking critically consume the goddamn fucking child beauty pageants, right? Oh god, these people are fucking.
I'm pretty sure they're banned over here, and I'm very glad
they
that
should
they
be.
are.
They fucking should be, Jesus Christ, mate. But anyway.
our entertainment. As Sayaka says,
まあきっと私たちがバカなんだよ。そうかな。そう、幸せバカ。
ignorance is bliss because ignorance is also youth. You're a kid. It's your job to be oblivious to the fires raging in the world below. So, what the fuck is our excuse as we watch them consign away their very existence to that oblivion? Because
It's
out
just
of all of
you,
this-
my dude.
When
Just
I watch
you.
when I watch the Magical Girl show, I'm not fucking trying to tune it into this big fucking statement about society bottom text, okay? Yeah, it's very personal rather than analytical. Again, it's projection. It really feels like projection.
The abuse, the exploitation, the suffering, that isn't the worst part. Now, the worst part is that no one can see it. Or rather,
Oh yeah, no one can see it, Ellie. We just Mr. Big Brain Analytical Man over here is the only one that can see that the Madoka girls are getting abused, right? The big abused. You know?
Yeah, Jake, I knew that the context of that scene was different, but I don't remember the scene that much.
Yeah.
But also, yeah.
But anyway,
I
let you go.
this whole argument of the girls being consumed by a machine that is perpetuating and wants ever more is kind of like capitalism. All right, maybe, I guess. All right, if that's
Well,
what
he's
you
not
think.
even like, I can see why he changed the title, because he's not even really talking about capitalism now. Like, he only really was talking about capitalism in the beginning. Now he's just talking about like general abuse, right? In a generalized sense. So I like child abuse specifically, right? So I'm kind of like he's acting like people don't like see, like, I think I've said this before on a cast, but a lot of these like big smart analytical big brain people have this misconception that general audiences don't pick up on things, right? No, general audience. I think most people that watch Madoka are going to be able to get that the idol characters or whatever are using and abusing these girls, right? Like, I think it's pretty fucking obvious, right? It's just most people don't feel the need to talk about that, right? Like, in terms of like an analytical sense, like because they get it, right? They're just like, oh yeah, abuse is happening. It's not good. Don't like it. It's pretty bad, but you know, it's part of the story. Let's see where it goes, right? You know, like I think most people, when they watch something like that, have the mental capacity to be able to do that. So for this guy to be like, oh, no, nobody else sees it. Nobody. Now I might be cutting him off early because maybe he's gonna. It's all right. Maybe he's going to be talking about it in the sense of the universe, right? In terms of the show, no one notices it in the show, right? But if he's talking about it in the meta sense, because obviously we are the monsters, right? We're not noticing it, right? I just think that's completely wrong. I think people do notice it. Have you ever seen the? I think I've posted it a number of times on Twitter, but I might have posted it to you too. It's about like godly armor and fantasy settings, right? Like bikini armor and stuff. And it's basically just this. It's this green text thing where some guy on 4chan is bitching about some Fire Emblem character, and they're like, "Oh, isn't she meant to be a warrior? Why is she in a bikini? Oh, she's showing too much skin, right?" Excuse me, my throat's getting a bit dry. I have to drink a bit more. But basically, the guy, the response was something. Actually, you know, I probably have it fucking saved, and I'll just read it out because I think it's relevant to this, right? I think it's really relevant. Let me see if I can find it because I'm pretty sure I'll have it. Because I use it a lot, so I probably do have it somewhere in here. I'll have it fucking. Where the fuck is it?
No, I was also looking stuff up in my computer. I was kind of writing a script that I might actually make a video myself again.
Oh boy!
But I lost the stuff that I was writing, and it was basically.
All right. Here we go. Slight sidetrack, but let me do some reading. Right, so you have Anonymous poster number 1, who's posted a picture of Fire Emblem character in bikini armor or whatever. Just what the fuck is she wearing? She's supposed to be a soldier, right? Why the fuck is she wearing what is basically a goddamn bikini out in the battlefield? Is she trying to get herself raped and killed? Is this seriously this fucking retarded, right? And then the response to that, which is the salient point, right, is what I find most pathetic about these little pseudo-intellectual nerd fuckboys who think that they're smart and totally perspective for pointing out design flaws in stupid godly armor. Like, you want to make it clear to all your peers, I'm the smart one. I'm the intellectual one. I understand combat and value logic above all. And you go on nitpicking the stupid shit that was made purely for the fuck of it. the overwhelming irony of it all is that you're the biggest motherfucking retard alive for actually believing you're the only one who can perceive the strategic faults of these designs and thinking other people aren't as perceptive as you. Here's a reality check for you, fucking cock wrangler. Everyone is aware of these things. They don't spend hours whining about it on image boards and forums and fucking YouTube comment sections, not because they're stupid, uneducated, or excuse me, unperceptive. It's because it's insignificant shit, and they aren't insecure enough to go whine about trivial realism bullshit and cheap, flashy entertainment. You're like a you're like the fuckwit that whines about people not knowing how bad fast food is for them because they continue to eat it. They know it's bad. They don't give a shit. You whiny little faggot. And I think that rant can apply to this video and a lot of different things, right? Because you have these people that are indeed these pseudo intellectual fuckboys, right? That think that they know everything and think that everyone else just doesn't perceive what's happening, right? When it's like, no, I think, yeah, it's like, no, it's bad, you know. Ellie, I don't know if you know this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna drop a bombshell on you. Child abuse is bad.
Oh no.
Did you know that child abuse is bad?
I might have to adjust my behavior from this point onwards.
But yeah, I wanted to read that out. Also, if anyone wants to clip that and use that as a meme thing, I give you full permission to use my reading to even though I fucked up a few times, you can use my reading for memes. Yeah, have fun, boys. You can have fun with that if you want. But anyhow, let's keep going. We've got about we got about a third left. We're past halfway, right. So we're getting it.
Or rather, no one cares. When Saya dies, it's not glamorous. It's not even memorable. She dies silently as they stand alone.
Okay, so he was talking more about the in-universe not caring. But I guess you could. My rant still stands.
Now, I don't know, because a unglamorous death kind of reinforces the tragedy of her.
And I don't know. I mean, Madoka here seems to give a shit.
Yeah.
Madoka here seems to care.
In this sense, Saika's death, it's been ages, right? Saika's death here is kind of realistic in that there isn't fireworks or it suddenly rains when somebody dies.
Yeah,
it can happen suddenly and mundanely and still be very sad.
Traumatic, yeah. Alright, let's keep going.
On the train tracks, the world passing them by as if nothing ever happened. This beautiful little girl gave up her blossoming youth and her life for the good of a world who won't even do her the courtesy of acknowledging her existence, let alone remembering her name.
Fuck it. He sounds like he's about to fucking burst into tears. Like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Doesn't he see the big-ass symbolism of train tracks?
Yeah.
Choices not taken, roads not gone, life passing you by.
Diverging paths, yeah.
There's so much you could read into these train tracks that are split off in both directions. Of the train that went by might have been, Saika's life being ripped away. There's so much.
Especially since trains do have, like, especially if we're going to talk about Japanese context, jumping in front of a train, right? Suicide type stuff, right? Like, there's symbolism there around death and trains, right?
Trains are, in symbolism parts from what I've picked up, right? Trains have plenty of symbolism usage of, inside a train passing by, a train passing by another train, you standing next to rail tracks themselves, a train rushing you by on a rail track, those beams that go up and down on crossings also have symbolism stuff. And it kind of says, oh no, this scene that they're in right now is a nothing. That does a disservice to the place that they're at.
Yeah, because it's very deliberate. Yeah.
I see as I kind of criticized his reading of of the classrooms. I do think that all the locations that are at in Madoka do carry some symbolism. If they're because it's Shaft loves their symbolism in environments.
They do, yeah.
So if they're if they are if the backgrounds is filled with factories, big heavy industry, and they're talking about some process or something, those factories mean something in their conversation, in their mood, in their mindset. But now he kind of says all the stuff about factories in the background is suddenly here not important anymore. And kind of selective.
All right, let's keep
going. Instead, we get this empty visage of an empty hall that silently echoes out her cries to be heard, littered with posters and signs for the music, for the boy she so desperately clung to, all of her regret, her pent-up anxieties refusing to die, not even death being a release from the torment of puberty. You ever wonder why there are no
torment
magical
of puberty?
girls?
You're mixing up your thematic pieces here, my dude.
What are you talking about, buddy?
Is this show about puberty? I mean, that's a good. Like, I could see readings of puberty in Madoka.
I mean, a lot of magical. I mean, you could see that in a lot of magical shows, to be honest.
Or even giant robots. So.
Anyways, keep going.
That survived to adulthood. It's because they're all dead, their anxieties having burned away all their hopes and dreams, leaving only a towering, all-consuming mountain of anxiety and fear. To many weebs who watch this...
To many weebs. Oh, here we go. Here comes the irony posting, boys. Let's go.
Weird.
Man thinks he's not a fucking weeb.
I think he actually counts himself because this channel is called Weeb.
But that's why I hate. I mean, I had this rant ages ago, like about like weeb and irony, poison and shit, and why I don't like I consider myself an otaku. I don't consider myself a weeb, right? I consider myself like an actual fucking, fan of these things, and not just irony posting, right? So. Yeah, no. That's just rehashing a rant I've already had, so let's just keep going.
What betrayed them is their own wishes. It's the ultimate irony of the magical girl, the darkness behind the bright and blossoming youth. To smarter weebs, it's the incubator.
Smarter weebs.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it! No, okay. I want to get through this now.
They grant them a wish, and if that wish is unreasonable, which it always is, it gets distorted and they corrupt into the existential horror that is the witches. But in reality, it's neither of these things. What really betrayed each and every one of these girls is society itself, for placing them in a position to make decisions that...
Big society.
Society caused Nami's car crash.
Yeah, society. Listen, if society didn't exist, cars wouldn't exist, which means that she wouldn't be in a car crash. So that means Jake is gonna fucking blow a blood vessel in the chat. Cause God, dude, God. All right,
will affect their entire lives for letting them think that this horrible, tortured existence of a magical girl, of an idol, is something to admire, for making them think that their own two hands will never be enough to make their dreams come true. Compare them to Madoka's mother. She stands there in her boring, corporate day job, putting on makeup every morning as her ironclad arm.
Like, man, look at this fucking set we're given here with all these little windows and mirrors. You've got the weather on the little screen there. You got
the near future kind of deal.
Yeah, very yeah. So, this looks cool. Anyway.
As she leaves to fight geriatric men in ill-fitting suits that barely remember her name. She, climbing the corporate ladder, is battling the exact same evil, the exact same forces of capitalism.
Fucking Jesus.
Kind of
Christ.
forced back into, right?
Oh, fuck me.
Is it the crushing of girls' dreams? Is it the unrealistic expectations of young girls of society? Is it capitalism?
Nah,
is
man.
it puberty? Is
It's
fun K-pop
yeah,
abusing
man.
shows?
It's not like a socialist system would ever crush people's dreams, Ali. Like it's not. It's not like living in a socialist system would you know limit you in any way, right? It's not like God. The meme that comes to mind is, have you seen the one where it's like the fat guy, and it's like there's like a soldier, and the guy's like, "No, you don't understand. I'm going to be after the revolution. I was going to be an artist and a poet, and I was gonna help spread the word." And the guy with the AK is just like, "Get in the mine, fucko!" Right? Get in the mine, right? Like that's what this feels like, right? It feels like the guy like yeah, okay, capitalism, obviously the realities of capitalism is definitely dream crushing, but is that going to be any different in any other system? No.
Not in different dreams.
Because reality is reality no matter what system you're in, right? Like there are like objective reality things that are going to get in your way regardless of what specific system you're in, right? Like in olden times, in medieval times, it would be, oh, the king is going to decide, you know,
the king has decided to do a fun war with his neighbor because he felt like it.
Yeah, and it's gonna go right.
You are called up, and you have no choice.
Yeah, you are called up, and we're gonna go right through your farm because we need to march through the farming village.
And you will give your house to house the soldiers, and your fields are being trampled with all the soldiers, and you get no compensation. Thank you for your loyalty to the crown.
For your loyalty to the crown, yeah. So it's like, yeah. So I don't, yeah. That's why this isn't deep analysis to me, right? Because it's like obviously what they're going for here is okay. There's a parallel here between corporate and obviously that's what's going on. But I don't think it's this grand fucking statement about the society, right? And how and whatnot, you know. But anyhow, let's go.
So, why is she successful? Why does she not burn out and die as all of the magical girls do? Well, for one, she's not fucking 14, but because of that, for her battle is merely the means to an end, her way of becoming stronger, of gaining the ability to care for her family. For her, the rewards are secondary. She only becomes a magical woman for the people she loves. Whereas, when magical girls make life-changing wishes, those hopes and dreams are but the fleeting whimsy of the youth. And once the magic is gone, so too is theirs. Do you think it's a coincidence that the thing they exist to create, entropy, only serves to give birth to demons that can only be destroyed with more entropy, creating an ever-growing monster feeding upon itself that can only ever grow and can only be stopped by turning the entire system on its head? Oh my god. Here's the problem.
Oh, what was that? Did you see that?
It's about money or something. I'm talking about money.
It's like this. I fucking hate it when they do that shit. Oh yeah, I've got to put my fucking subliminal messages in the fucking screen, you know, because I'm too much of a pussy to actually just say it, right? You know, like just fucking say you're talking about money. Why did you have to like flash it on the screen for like 5 seconds and force like someone that's not watching your shitty video, right? On like they're watching their tab on a tab, or they've got it on their phone while they're about to go to sleep, and they're just listening, right?
I think
they're not gonna fucking see. They're not gonna see your little Easter egg, mate. Like, come on.
He was talking about capitalism again. I got that.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty obvious. He didn't need to flash the fucking. I'm talking about money on the screen, but even so, like to talk about the point in general, I don't like is like money the like entropy, right? Like what What? Like,
It's been too long. I don't know the exact mechanical details of how the magical
yeah.
girls function in
We'll just
entropy.
we'll just let it slide and just say it's
Yeah.
stupid. So let's keep going.
Here's the problem. The only thing that matters to the incubators is results. Happiness comes secondary, and it's the cost of those results, the heart. That's what the system destroys, and that's what no one else can see. And Madoka's mother completely turns this upside down. She works hard, non-stop, but it's all for the love of her family. She cares about results as the means to the end, but the magical girls, the wishes they make, are both the means and the end, and the power and responsibility is merely an unforeseen consequence, a side effect. And Madoka, like her mother, doesn't choose fame or fortune or any material rewards. She instead chooses strength. The strength to fight for the people she cares about, and the strength to stand up for herself
By the
and
way,
banish.
very rude. Kyoko made a wish to help her father.
Right.
Not for her own wealth and fame and glory, but for another. Sayaka's wish was for her boyfriend to be better again. So, what's that for kind of wish?
Yeah.
It's you're not making a whole lot of sense with only Madoka. Because if you wanted to say, magical girls, capitalism, burned out, used natural resources, something. Madoka creates the perfect communist revolution by wishing the system to change. All right, I guess. Making wishing so that magical girls don't become monsters and die and become corporate hostile takeover entities, I guess. Good thing. You created a more equal society that doesn't prey on.
You did a good, yeah. You did a good.
Saying that Madoka made a wish out of strength, while Sayaka wished for somebody to be better, was a bad wish. Yeah.
Yeah, Jake's pretty much on point. Yeah. So, yeah, we're almost done. Let's cap it off. Let's see what he's almost done with his undercooked, overcooked cooking.
Evil.
Burned.
To her, the wish is meaningless. Because here's the thing about dreams. Forming a contract to become a magical girl means being granted a wish for something, anything, and that chance should make Madoka the luckiest girl in the world. But her life is already perfect. She has loving parents, a good home, and good friends. Even if she had 10, 100, 1,000 wishes, there's nothing they could grant her that she doesn't already have. The ultimate irony of Madoka Magica is that each of these girls, to trade for their fleeting dreams of youth, sacrifices what so many people would give anything for. Just like Okabe and Steins Gate. Would each of these girls
Oh yeah, there we go. It was about Steins Gate. There you go. But anyway, let's keep going. We're almost done.
Sacrifices to become a magical girl is the idyllic, perfect, boring every day as they are wrapped up in the endless cycle of consume, consume, consume. Yes, what better metaphor for capitalism is there than the magical girl?
I think
There's
of
a
better
lesson in you.
ones though, but that's.
Yeah. All right, it's almost done.
There's somewhere. Maybe stop being okay with the public exploitation and abuse of underage girls.
I don't
But you
watch it. I don't.
But yeah, but you fucking did. Okay.
Is that a lesson? Oh dear.
Or is
The other
anime
lesson
real
is
life? That's another.
Yeah, it's anime real life. Yeah.
maybe that capitalism is fucking us in the ass and we're all going to die alone. Oh dear God. Or maybe the lesson is that as long as these problems don't go away, this anime will only ever become more and more a work of art as time goes on, and we should cherish it as the masterpiece it is. Oh, and maybe if you like anime with heavily ironic criticism of the very system that produced it in the first place, that are all.
Oh, I fucking hate these fucking people. Oh, I hate them, Ellie. Oh, it's so fucking annoying. Ah!
Also written by Gachi, you should definitely watch my video on Psychopath. Thanks for your time, friends.
Alright, we're done. We're done.
Hey.
Psychopath. 40 fucking minutes! Jesus Christ. Psychopath is smarter. I don't know if I mean, this was 15 minutes. I don't know if I could fucking survive 40 minutes of this guy.
This was like 1.5 hours, but this is pretty good on pace time, actually.
Yeah, we did pretty good this time around. So, final thoughts, right? Ocean with the depth of a paddling pool. Well, maybe not even not even that. It's just a paddling pool, right? So, it's not even an ocean. It's just a paddling pool, right? Because.
Oh no,
okay.
you know you mean my thumbnail?
Yeah, your thumbnail. Yeah. But okay, so the main thing I want to hone in on this is not necessarily the capitalism stuff, ironically, because we've already kind of done that to death, right? And the video really doesn't actually do a good job of making the point about capitalism that you would think it would, right? Trying to say, oh, this symbolizes capitalism. This. The part that I find more interesting and I think is more salient to criticize and talk about is the idea of critical consumption, right? And this video screams to me that this fellow is a critical consumer, right? He is a guy who thinks that he's smart because, look, I might watch the 14-year-old K-pop girls getting abused
chased
on
into
reality
the bathrooms
TV
with cameras.
Yeah, getting chased into the bathrooms with cameras and being humiliated on TV for millions of people to see, right? I might enjoy that content, say that it was interesting and fun and cool, but look, I'm critically consuming it, so it's okay, even though I'm going to say that it is absolutely detrimental to society and destroying Western civilization, right? And causing the downfall of the entire system or whatever, right? Like, because it's not just this guy. There's so many people, and I brought up the Mimi stuff earlier, right? Like with the big stuff that's happening with Mimi on Twitter right now, again, right? Is these people, they project this insecurity, right? Because I think that he feel like, okay, psychoanalysis Nretsew time, right? I think he understands that the abuse of the K-pop girls is wrong, right? He understands that it's bad and that it's horrible. However, he does enjoy it. He did find that show entertaining enough to both talk about it, but also talk about other shows in the genre, right? The shows that came after. He mentioned that. So obviously he's a fan of that content, right? And I think he feels guilty about that, right? Because he understands that it's bad and that what he's watching is, abuse. And so he projects that in this really weird critical consumption justificative way to be able to say, no, I'm not a bad person because I watched this, Ellie. I'm not a bad person. Look, I'm critical of it, okay? Even though I am perpetuating it by, advertising it and supporting it and showing it to people and talking, going on about how great, there's good aspects of it, right? And I see this a lot with people, particularly on the left, but I think the rightoids do it too a little bit, right? As I mentioned with K-On! And, other slice of life type shows where they, use that as they project their views about an idealized society onto those shows, right? Which is why they gravitate towards them. So it's not just the leftoids doing it, but I find that more often with leftoids, it comes from this place of they feel this internalized guilt around the stuff that they watch, right? Or they enjoy. And so they have to try and justify themselves to everyone around them. And it leads to them coming to these really weird conclusions about how Madoka Magica is totally about capitalist exploitation and transactional emotional transactions and whatnot, so that he can, justify to his communist friends that, no, listen, me watching the show about 14-year-olds getting abused and becoming magical girls and turning into witches and stuff, and that's hypersexualized. Look, I'm watching it because I'm critical of it. Okay, I enjoy it, but I'm totally. It's okay, right? Please do not put me on the cross, okay?
Alright,
Do
Nretsew,
not.
I'll give my.
I'm rambling a bit, but
Yeah,
I'll finish my
was
point
also
and then I'll let you
I
go.
was checking if the next the video game talk was working fine. So you're rambling helping a little bit.
It actually helped. So I'll finish my point and then I'll let you go. Right. My final point is basically, I wish people would be a bit more genuine, right, and not try and do this critical consumption, justifying everything. I have to look good to my peers, type stuff, because I think it's detrimental not just to them as people, but to art, right? To kind of view art in this sort of weird, like a consumption of art becomes a moral thing, right? Like, are you consuming good art? And if you're not consuming good art, you can only consume bad art if you're critical of it, right? I guess that's kind of where I'm going with this. So anyway, I'll let you, Kat. What do you think, Ellie? What's your final thoughts? And then we'll talk about anime.
To answer Jake, even though he asked you, I don't think he's doing it out of performativity. It does feel like he holds these beliefs himself.
Maybe.
The capitalism thing just kind of feels tacked on. It's
yeah, I agree.
It doesn't feel. Nretsew calls me a communist all the time. No, that's fine, I guess.
Half a meme, half not a meme. Let's be real.
But I haven't studied any political political theories really to say how much of a communist I would be. But from what I've been told here and there, what he's criticizing isn't really capitalism in the K-pop stuff, and that is his big anchor, his big thesis in a sense. Madoka is kind of a tacked on bit. He kind of he grabs everything one would think of as capitalism and says it is criticized in Madoka. But it's all very flimsy. And his real argument is about, exploitation. But exploitation doesn't really, of course, capitalism is getting more out of the workers than you are giving in yourself. That's, exploitation. Is that exploitation? Communists say it's absolutely so. Capitalists say that's fair. That's a fair wage, covers that enough. But even you Nretsew, ultra capitalists,
look, I'm big capitalist man.
You are super totally, anarcho capitalist. You should have.
Yeah, we have to. You violated my NAP.
Yeah, and you said that was abuse. So that abuse of the girls in the K-pop show and Madoka by extension doesn't have anything to do with your political beliefs on what economic systems we should have. That's just abuse. So his I don't.
Yeah. Abuse is abuse, no matter what system the abuse is under, right? Like, abuse can be under. You can have. I don't think that abuse of kids, especially if we're gonna talk about communism and abuse or socialism and abuse, right? Sending the kids to the mines, right? Sending the kids to the mines, forcing the kids to work because you need to outperform the capitalists in productivity.
Well,
right?
The English industrialization was child labor all the time.
Exactly, right? Like. But these things happen regardless of system, right? And it's cool to call out abuse when you see it, right? Like,
Mhm.
you should be calling out abuse when you see it. I just think that the issue is not necessarily like, oh, it's the system, right? It's oh, yeah, abuse is bad. Bottom text.
Yeah,
You know?
but even stuff when he says, K-pop are used up and tossed aside. But where is the connection with Madoka witches? How do witches play into capitalism in his reading? What are witches in capitalism? How are you a used up worker that you have exploited for everything that they have? They live in a
And then
rental
you
house. They live in
then
a
you toss them
rental
away,
house. They don't have any possessions. You have his entire life is gig work and rental places and subscriptions. That is his life. He has no possessions. Everything is, yeah. How now that that person becomes a witch? How does capital? What is a witch then in capitalism? There is no answer because this analogy fails in Madoka. And Jake says a good amount of stuff, and I agree with most of it. If that I'm reading quickly through.
Based Jake in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, rambling
Alright,
observations that aren't connected, that doesn't make sense in his wider thesis.
Well,
But to repeat myself one final time as a conclusion, he watched his favorite K-pop, his abusive K-pop shows, and then he saw Madoka and thought, damn, that's kind of the same abuse. They're kind of used up, just like capitalism. And then he went through without any further thinking.
No
Nretsew,
further thinking about it. Yeah,
I think he's as much as a fake capitalist as those Twitter users you speak about, or railing against the decline of Western society, while also liking every fanboy porn that they see. He's on the same level.
All right. Well, I mean, at least I think we had some pretty good discussions.
Yeah.
It was good. It was. See, my instincts. You gotta trust your instincts a bit.
Yeah.
Trust. So anyway, shall we talk about some anime? Let's talk
Sure.
we got some interesting anime to talk about today because there's been some interesting episodes come out. Do we want to do Frieren first since that's ended? It's over.
Yeah, let's do Frieren.
The final episode of Frieren. Talk about how fucking great Frieren is. So we can talk about. So this was kind of winding down. The arc's over.
Yeah.
I liked how the people that did pass the final test, right? With the elf, you had the fucking autistic chick just shows up. It's just like, you pass. Not even gonna say anything. Just you pass. Yeah. Because I think you mentioned you were interested to see what was going to happen with that.
Yeah.
The last time we talked about it. So yeah, it was quite funny.
But yeah, when he said that when she said that Denken passed because he wanted to fight her, that was Ubo was going to pass because Ubo was just sending off "I want to kill everybody all the time" vibe. So if that's the criteria, then he's going to.
I believe the criteria is just like, do you have a fear response to me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was kind of the sort of the criteria in a sense, because the people that did have sort of the fear-ish response tended to be unconfident in themselves, right? And that's what she was kind of getting at. I think that's my interpretation anyway. And of course you had Mr. I'm gonna work from home, send my clone. Mr. Work from Home Man, which is it was quite funny.
Oh, I have such an appreciation of Land.
Yeah,
just said, because isn't that the dream, right, Nretsew? Just have use doing all the work. And
send out a couple of clones. Yeah,
I had
from home.
you know, you dream about superpowers, whatever your age is, right, Nretsew?
Yeah.
I had fantasies of my superpowers just being more of me. I don't mind if I am working on my bit over here. If somebody else cleans the windows properly, and even if that's me, I'm fine with that. And if somebody else can do some study work, and if somebody else can do the actual work, it's all fine that I clone go to work because somebody else is behind the computer playing games. I don't mind. It's all me anyway. Land has my fantasy dream superpowers here, and he has my respect for actually using it in this way, just sending out clones wherever he wants. I wonder how many he has.
Yeah.
Land is a favorite character of mine in this episode.
Yeah, he's just got him everywhere. Yeah. So yeah. Pretty good. So overall, right, because it is the final episode. I reckon we'll get another season of
Yeah, I mean the final screen, right? I didn't put it on here.
Yeah.
I captured more of a wide, across the episode images. But to talk about the end, the final screen does say the journey to end and continues. That's kind of sounds like a second season.
Yeah, I would be considering how popular it is. I would be highly surprised if we didn't get a season of
I'll say it here. The second season of the Diaries got a second season.
Yeah.
So if that's the second
and
season,
Chain Soldier, I think, is also getting a second season. So we might talk about that because I might as well just cap off. Even though haven't talked about Chain Soldier. I don't think we talked about it last week because there wasn't much to talk about. But I might as well cap off my final thoughts about it. But we'll get to that when we get to that. We're talking about Free Run right now.
Let's do some little bit more of a structure back into Free Run, right?
Yeah.
Everybody that didn't show up last episode showed up in this episode, and everybody in this episode passed. So Weerbill passed, Ubel passed, Denken passed, Methode passed. And Siri apologized, and Siri apologized to Sense and said, I was wrong. There are plenty of first-class mages actually here. So Sense...
all's well that ends well.
Yeah. She failed like 4, 5, 3 included. And she passed
that was
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Over half, I think, she passed. So that's good news for them.
Pretty good. Pretty good. They don't have to wait 3 years, basically, to try again.
I wanted to quickly mention Leerne. That his insecurities about of leaving Siri without somebody to remember, some accompanying her in her in history, which is kind of an interesting perspective. He wants to be in history so that Siri won't be alone. What did you think of that?
I think it was pretty good. Sorry, I got a little distracted there. Got a little distracted. I need to close some windows. Yeah. So yeah, I think it was pretty good. There was a lot of this episode had a lot of just kind of capping off the character interactions, because I assume that a lot of these characters we might see again, maybe.
Because Denken is going north.
Denken's going north because he wants to go see the grave, right? I think it's assumed probably
wife.
Yeah. She's So there's a lot. We're probably going to see some of these characters again. Obviously, we're secondaries. We haven't read the manga, so we don't know. But supposedly we'll see a few of them again. A few of them are this is going to be kind of maybe our last interaction with a number of them. So it's probably a lot of this episode was dedicated to that. I think that it was I think it was a good episode or a good place to kind of end right? Because you know, obviously we feel like we're going to get a second season, but I think if we didn't get any more Frieren after this point, I'd feel like it's pretty solid, right? You know,
Oh,
I'd feel
yeah.
like it's a pretty solid conclusion to the story. Well, not conclusion, but like a good place to kind of be like, yeah, the journey continues, but you know, this is this is a good place to kind of put the brakes for a bit. And of course, we also got a little bit of action in this episode with Mister
Lerna, yeah.
first class old man. I have to kill Frieren. Prove myself, but no, you don't have to prove yourself. You've already proved yourself. She's just autistic and can't express it properly.
Oh, by the way, Nretsew, did you catch? I have the image of Lerna being younger as a student of Siri. The second mage, right? The first mage student that's in this flashback kind of deal was controlling some water.
Yeah.
The second was catching a bird mid-air with the same spell as Frieren used to catch a bird. So apparently he created that spell to catch a bird or something.
Maybe.
Which is a funny idea.
Well, yeah, and it was some interesting kind of world building, I guess.
Also, let's finish off with Himmel's ideology.
Yes.
Of it would be embarrassing if we meet again to have a long and drawn out goodbye.
With big cries, big crying, yeah.
Which is a
it was pretty good. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Like I said, it's a good way to cap it off, right? It feels like a good, you know.
Also,
so I guess
it's also kind of a smart-ish way to end the season. Like, don't cry over the end of this season. It would be embarrassing if it comes.
If it came back again, yeah. So let's talk, because it's the final episode. Let's kind of talk about overall, right? Like Frieren as an entire production, right? I think it's fantastic. I believe that we are looking at the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood of this generation, right? You know, in the sense that this is such a big franchise, a big sort of, you know, bowling ball into the normal anime watching sphere, right? And it's kind of I think it's going to possibly reinvigorate the interest in, maybe not isekai, because obviously it's not isekai, but like fantasy in general, right? Because it is a very classic style fantasy journey type, you know, story, but there's obviously like some little twists and turns and nooks and crannies that make it interesting, such as the fact that, you know, Frieren is so long lived, and we are also watching the other characters kind of grow around her, right? So she is a catalyst of this character growth.
Yeah,
right?
I can see that's more interest in fantasy in general, but I don't think you can. Frieren, talking about the whole series, Frieren's flashbacks to Himmel is such a powerful character, right?
Oh yeah.
The previous party is such a powerful
such a powerful character for being a dead man. Yeah,
he's 100% dead, and he has such an impact on the show that you can't go an episode without Himmel and how good Himmel is as a character. And then you have to tell yourself, but he's dead, and still he has such a presence. And that's kind of also what I see as the point of the show, that Preamble said in this episode, death isn't the only goodbye. And I'm not just, you know, kind of talking about that, you know, forgetting or being forgotten is a second death or something. But it's more of about the impact of what you can have in your life, and the small and the big and the personal and the you know, the whole world impacts that you have.
That kind of goes into when Frieren was having the discussion with the soldier guy, right, the soldier boy, and they're talking about, like, you know, these little insignificant actions, right? These little, you know, gestures of, you know, like he talks about his village, right, and how Hamdall coming to the village, you know, and he didn't like do anything super amazing. Like he defeated some monsters maybe, but he mostly just kind of helped around, and people remembered that and were happy about that, and they had smiling faces when they retold the story about how he helped them move a crate, and that kind of thing, right? And I think that it sort of gets into this idea that heroism comes in many forms, both big and small, right? It's not just about the stories in the book of the slaying of the dragon and the killing
conquering
of the
big
king,
tower,
the destruction of the oppressor, right, or what have you, right? It's it's these small little interactions that can often have the biggest impact in inspiring people, right? And I think that's a through line that you can.
Himmel did save his village.
Yeah,
but,
he did.
But the existence of his village wouldn't matter in the war,
grand scheme, yeah.
But it mattered for everybody in that village, and that's
exactly
that made him
and
a
I
hero.
I think that's a through line that you see throughout the entire series as you watch Fearin and Stark kind of go through these different, like, because they go through these different villages and they help out in varying ways. Like they collect all the driftwood off the beach, right, for the festival, right? They do all these different like little menial activities. It's not always just big fights, big demons, right? We obviously got that, and we got the I don't know if you still have that GIF somewhere or that image, the famous moment of end yourself now. The lightning eyes and the but I think that's a core part of the story, right? Is it's about how these how we forge these memories and how we remember times past, and how important it is that not just the big events but the small ones matter to people, right? And so I think that that's one of the things that makes the anime so interesting and so compelling, right? Even though your typical shonen fan is probably going to complain, oh, there's not enough action, there's not enough, there's not enough big explosion. I mean, despite the fact there fucking is, right? There's plenty of big explosions and big animation, big budget, right? Big flashy flash,
black
right?
holes and reality shattering and big ass energy blasts.
But the thing is it's like, I feel like the fact that stuff is used sparingly actually makes it more impactful, right? It makes it a lot more of a big deal when you see like the fight. We had the fight with Fearin versus Fearin, right?
Or
like,
just Fern versus Lugner.
Yeah, exactly. Like you get these moments have a lot more impact when they happen, right? Because it's so sparse, right?
All right, so just
we're rambling on.
One final bit.
Yeah,
Fern's and Fearin's just plain expressionless faces when they fight are so good. They are so overpowered characters are bad apparently, but no, Fearin's not emotionless blank face is so powerful whenever she fights. Fern's emotionless face when she fights is so powerful. It would be so cool to see more of it. I want to see more of those blank faces.
Also the uwu. What spell did you get? Oh, I got the spell that lets me wash clothes. Perfectly clean clothes. And are you fucking insane? She's got it. Oh yeah, it's good.
But that spell would be
that spell is actually useful though. Yeah, like that is pretty good. Like
they already have a spell that cleans pots and pans.
Yeah. But anyhow, so I would give Fearin high scores.
High score. I'm not going to give it a score.
I'm not. Because scores are gay, right? But like I would definitely. Yeah, I'm not in the mood either. But let's just say, like, I would definitely rate Fearin as high, and I do think that it's a pivotal. Like, it feels like such a big deal, right? It feels to me like a Brotherhood, or maybe not a Bebop, right? But like, it feels like that kind of show, right? One of these big shows that people are going to be talking about for years after the.
I would at least kill a
regardless of if we get a second season or not. I think people are going to be talking about Frieren for years to come, right?
At least the Kill la Kill level, right? Because we Kill la Kill is still in the public mind till this day.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's talk about the show that will be forgotten next week.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let's do. So so are we doing Chain Soldier? Is that the one we're doing?
No.
Oh no, Metallic Rogue. Oh no. Oh no. You're not a fan now. You're not a fan of the Metallic Rogue now.
It's so
hater.
It's,
hater of Metallic Rogue.
I am, if you want to call it that. I just feel Metallic Rogue is confused.
I do too, actually. I don't. I think it's confused, and I think that it's really suffering from not having enough time to cook. And even I don't even know if it had enough time to cook, right? Like
I don't think the dish was well. They got
the dish. Yeah, I don't know if the cooking was. Yeah. It's so let's just kind of obviously we're kind of coming up to the climax, right? The big decision's going to have to happen on the free will versus the slavery, right?
And I feel that it's going to be more of a free will kind of deal, but those visitors are still have to come into the story proper, right?
What I think's going to happen is because obviously the fucking puppeteery man, whatever, he wants control too, basically, right? So I think he's serving his own interests. He wants to do big control. He's basically using the Immortal 9 as the key to get the code, so that he can use the code to, you work for me now, not the humans, right? You can kill the humans, and you're going to let me kill, genocide, big genocide, or whatever, or something like that, right? That's what to my own ends, right? That's what I honestly think is his motivation and what's going to happen. And I think what's going to end up actually happening is Rogue is going to go, nah, free will. The nerds are going to be able to decide for themselves what they, if what they do or whatever. And I have the sneaking suspicion that's how it's going to end. And I feel like it's going to kind of end with big sacrifices to do that, right? Like either Rogue herself or Naomi or some of the other characters are going to have to do a big sacrifice, right? There's going to be something that's lost in order to facilitate the change.
So I'm going, more and more lamentful complaining, I guess. Cyan's character introduction of being suddenly super friendly and into the group, accepted.
Yeah, that was really weird. I'm not. Again, that feels like the cooking problem. Like it's rushed. Like I could believe her like stowing away on the ship and then because obviously she's got to re-enter the. She's got to re-enter the story somehow. They're not just going to introduce her for like one fight and then have her kind of stay on Earth, right? Like, so I saw that coming already, but I think just the whiplash of her going from
big enemy to super friend.
Super friend, my sister, yay sister, like Oni-chan, right? Like it feels forced, right? It feels rushed and it feels forced. And I think if they'd introduced her earlier in the show, right, as a reoccurring character, that wouldn't be a problem, right? Like it would have made a lot more sense. But because she's been introduced so late in the game, it just comes off as being incredibly forced.
But there's too many organizations, right? So there's a kind of a human council being introduced this episode, a big board of all big companies and army control, fleet control, and whatnot. Then you have the puppeteer and his group, and then you have the Immortal 9 that they don't all agree with each other, and then you have the visitors have their own agenda, and the observers, and the puppeteer is a human, So he isn't necessarily with the usurpers. There are too many organizations, and they should have,
There's a lot of moving gears going on.
And
right?
some
There's
are
a lot
just kind of feel like they're spinning in midair, not connected to anything.
Yeah,
And they
what's the term? Wagon wheels tuning. The wheel, like it doesn't feel like we're going anywhere, right? A lot of these plot points, I don't know how they're gonna like get these plot points to sort of converge, right?
Yeah, and I said
If that-
in the beginning, or not in the beginning, or in an earlier episode, that those neons are going to be free one way or another, and I'm kind of more interested in the show's idea of what is an acceptable cost for freedom, for not being slaves. And I'm more if I this is the first time of many maybe that I'm more watching this show for this podcast, for this episode, than I'm actually watching it for myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a tendency, like, once I've kind of stuck with something, I only really drop something if I find it exceptionally boring, right? Like, really fucking boring, Like, I will tend to, like, if, like, I'm still watching stuff like My Hero Academia because I'm like, I'm far enough in it, I'm so far into it, right? Like, it's, why stop? It's kind of like, we've gone so far. Why the sunk cost fallacy? In a sense. So yeah, I can get that, and I think that that's definitely somewhat of an aspect here, with Metallic Rogue. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens next episode.
Next week I want to kind of my personal question is, what does the show think is a acceptable compromise between slavery and being treated normally?
Yeah. what's the enlightened centrist position going to be?
Yeah.
Right?
All right, but let's talk about solo leveling.
Yes, because things are happening in solo leveling.
Nretsew, I'm going to be honest. This is kind of the kind of one of the first episodes that I feel like had a good groove.
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd say that because you've been talking about. Oh, I want to know about what's going on with the with the guilds and the things and what's going on here, and also systems happening.
Stuff. This is kind of an episode where stuff happens, where things move along, where characters have clear motivation. It's not all boring business talk or whatnot.
We're getting a bit of setup too, bit of little bit.
Yeah, like
we got some other characters. We got some other characters showing up as well.
Characters are finding out. A threat is reintroduced. Oh, that brother of the guy that that died in
he is big angry.
And there's a kind of but I am kind of in the middle of between B and A, and that guy is levels
S rank or whatever.
So I'll better hurry up with my. So there's stakes and there's a
bit of fucking grind, mate.
There's stakes. There's a timeline. There is.
Yeah.
He has a body that's happy, goblin arms fling around him, he'll just do his job. He isn't angry all the time.
So the main core of this, it's interesting how the episode it does focus on that, but it also focuses on this guild recruiter guy, or the guild man, and his now I think because I did end up watching that video of the guy's video where he goes over the differences, right? Because I always find that interesting. And this episode didn't have a whole lot to really talk about in that regard, but in the novel, there's a few extra things about potions. Apparently, so the way that this is a system thing, so it's actually kind of sad that it wasn't in the anime because you would have liked it, right? So Sun obviously has the shop, right? He can buy the potions. He can't trade the potions, right? The description says that he can't trade the potions. So if he gives the potion to his buddy, right, Mr. Mining Man, right, Mine
Yeah.
Man, the rich kid, it disappears, just vanishes, right, just goes back into his inventory. So he can't physically give the potion to someone.
That's why he had to close his eyes and pour it in.
Yes, that was Sun kind of testing. He's testing the limits of the system, right? And we find out that, okay, so I can't trade the item, but if I administer it to someone, then the effect still works. And the novel kind of gets into how they've been using that on Miner Man, because basically he's been giving him stamina potions so that he doesn't get tired.
That makes
So he
sense,
can keep
because he
working.
was just happy all the time, mining all the time. So.
Yeah. You notice that in the show, but they don't like directly state that's
it's
what's
fine
happening,
enough, right? It's a fun detail.
So I thought I'd bring that up. Yeah, it's a minor thing. Another thing is also talking about the skills that he got, because he got an upgrade to his dash, and he also got basically a skill that allows him to get critical hits. And that you see that skill used in the episode, but they don't really kind of spend a lot of time explaining it like they do in the novel, because it's basically explaining that, he can, for X amount of time, higher percent chance, critical hit, so and so and so and so, and that's and Son kind of mentions how he's using that skill a lot now, and that's why he wants to focus more on getting more mana, because that skill costs mana, right? So he needs more mana to be able to use that skill.
He did say that this skill uses a lot of mana. I better up my intelligence, so it's
yeah.
Fine
So
enough.
now he's going to start working on that. Yeah, and he also got a dagger skill that increases his dagger stuff as well, because he's been using daggers a lot, which is fine. Pretty simple. So some interesting stuff. So we had the guild guy come in, and he wants to try and scout Son, and Son kind of flips.
I find out the secret.
But the main reason that it was such a big deal was actually because Rich Boy had kind of played his hand a bit too hard by buying all of the gates.
Yeah.
Because the White Tiger was buying the gates so that they could use them to train the newbies, right?
So
by buying all of the gates at higher than market rate, and basically outselling or outbuying the White Tiger Guild, it actually has caused a bit of a problem and drew the ire of the White Tiger Guild, because they need those gates as well. Which is why when Sun obviously proposes the idea, I'll just sell these gates back to you, right, for exorbitant amount, even though the price is going to go down, because they were going to get rid of those gates anyway, right? And it kind of works out. That's why that guy kind of accepted that deal, because it was such a thing. And then so it was an interesting, because you get to see a little bit of the guild inner workings. I'm interested in Hoodie Girl. I'm interested to see where she comes in, because she's obviously an E rank, just like Sun was, right? So I'm interested to kind of see if
she's a character design, so
yeah, that's what I mean. She's not just a random goober, right?
With some playing cards.
Yeah. She's actually a human being, right? So I'm interested to see how she comes into the mix later on, because I have a feeling she's going to become relevant.
And just we had a video about capitalism. Let's do it again. This feels very much like, he's so rich and powerful, S rank, the laws don't apply to him anymore.
Yeah,
that sounds like that sounds like capitalism, Nretsew.
But the rich elites,
the powerful,
using their power,
rich, powerful, and exploiting weaker guilds. Guilds are companies. Companies rule the world. Sounds like capitalism.
All that fun stuff.
Although I think I do feel that solo leveling is very much like that. From what I understand, Korean mega corporations that rule your life.
It definitely feels more about Korean society rather than which is an interesting perspective, right? Because we don't really see it's not we see a lot more of big Japan work culture society, so and so and so and so. We don't see a whole lot of Korea.
This Korean setting, even solo leveling, portrays a kind of a society that is kind of revolves around these big companies, and from what I
Well, the guild,
understand,
big guilds are stand-ins for companies.
yeah, and if I am to believe that Korean society is built around Samsung and Toshiba or something, and all those big
I
companies.
think, yeah.
Toshiba would be Japanese most likely.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But no, I get what you're saying, right? I get what you mean. So anyway, yeah. So that's how we're leaving. I'm gonna watch the new episode today, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I won't be because
I'm
I will forget to get screen caps and whatnot.
interested.
But let's go
Alright,
to
well,
number 4, Gushing Over Magical Girls.
Hey, what'd you think, Ellie? What'd you think? Yeah, you put the GIF in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an MP3 4, but anyway.
Yeah, it's a yeah. Anyway, what did you?
It's a good cooling off episode after kind of a big.
Yeah, we had a big fight, big things happen. Now we get it. We get to chill out a little bit. We got a little, calm down episode.
Yeah, Utena is not really feeling her position as big boss. She's kind of tired anyway. She goes to, she hears about that Azura is fine because she didn't know all this time.
Yeah, she's fine. No spoiler.
No spoiling the final form.
That was good. I remember when that happened in the manga. That was great. She's like, no spoilers, no. Shut up! La 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 la.
And then she gets back her resolve to do the things she does. She already does the entire time.
Because and it's mostly because she's realized what she's done hasn't actually harmed Azura, right? Because she was worried, obviously, that she'd irreparably damaged her, right? And she wouldn't be a magical girl in the same way anymore. And she because she obviously cares about the magical girls, right? To an extent, even though she likes playing with them, right?
Yeah.
So them having that interaction, and she gazes into the gates of heaven. And suddenly it's like, yep, she's back. She's back, boys.
Although it's kind of, I would be funny. I don't know her real Sayo.
Yeah.
I believe Sayo. Sayo, when Azura goes to meet Utena again as Sayo, I wonder, because Utena doesn't know that Azura is Sayo.
No, they don't.
So how is she going to handle that Utena is a master with fingers?
Is a master of the joys of the hands, yeah. Power of the hands. Well, I do think, because I mean they met at the magical girl convention. Well, kind
well,
of.
she knows she knows that she's crazy.
She knows that she's big into the magical girl's massive fan.
But now
maybe not in this way, but now she knows in this way.
Yeah, so I'm wondering how this would go. In the next episode.
Yeah, we'll see.
But
we'll see how it goes. But anyhow,
fun. Alice wants to have fun with her new toys, and
Alice being Alice, yeah. And we got a new fetish today as well.
Giantess and
Giantess fetish, yeah. A very popular one. Not necessarily my thing, but it's
I think
it's like
the upskirts kind of was kind of also
the upskirts are pretty fun. I did, yeah. I remember reading this, right? I remember reading the manga, right? And I had a good laugh at they pull down the panties, right? Because they're all stuck inside the panties, and then she just boots them all. She just no, I've had enough. Yeah, it was good. So yeah, this was again, it's like you said, it's a very chill wind down.
Yeah, even the fight was very casual. There's no big speeches.
And it's kind of So we'll see, because I think next episode, I have a vague idea of what's possibly going to happen next episode and where we're going to end off, right? And I think it's probably a good place to end it. I think when we get to the next episode next week, I feel like it'll be a good. We're going to end in a very good spot for the series. I'm praying for season 2, because my god, please,
mean,
I should have given you. Have you seen that GIF of that guy who's like a what is it? One of those citizen guys in a car. The cops. What are they called? You know what they're called, right? The fucking. Oh fuck! They're the guys that are always like the law doesn't apply to me.
sovereign citizens.
Sovereign citizen. The sovereign citizen guy who's in the car and he's got his hands up and he's like praying to Trump. He's like, please Trump, please Trump, please. While like the cop's about to break his like window and he's like, please Trump, please. I'll see if I can get the where's the GIF. Fuck it. I have it saved on my Discord because I love it. It's a great GIF. And I'll post it. And you could. I don't know if you want to bring. Yeah, there it is. There it is. There it is. This one. This one. This is me praying for the second season. This is me praying for the second season of Gushing Over Magicals. Please, magical, please, anime gods, please.
I miss it.
The sovereign citizens, yeah. See,
yeah,
there it is. Oh well, we got all the gifts. We get all of the whole window.
There, damn.
There you go.
Gone you go.
Yeah, there you go. Please, yeah. Please, Trump, please, Trump. I'm gonna summon the magical girls, please, summon you to help, please. That's me. That's me hoping for a second season. That's just gonna do my incantations. But yeah. So yeah. It was a good episode. I feel I quite enjoyed Utena's reinvigoration. I also liked Kiwi being like, look at my boobs. Look at my boobs.
Is there a precedent though? Did Utena ever cheer up by grabbing Kiwi's boobs?
Maybe. Yeah, there is a coping for a second season. Yeah, it is big cope. Yeah, big cope.
But no,
I don't know.
I was going to mention, right, if Kadokawa is releasing ASMRs for Magical Girls,
yeah,
I see a second season coming.
Well, yeah, the advertising's been pretty intense, so yeah, I think it's definitely popular enough for it. I hope so. We'll see what happens. But yeah, to cap off the section, it was a good episode. It's good stuff. I reckon pretty much sums it up.
Yeah. Then it's time for the diaries. Last season, last time I talked about how Lacan wasn't a bad guy actually all along.
Yeah. It turns out he was actually a nice man.
He was a nice guy, but he's just scheming all the time, and everybody hates him because he's just mean all the time.
Yeah, because big schemes, yeah.
But yeah, I said that Momo's plan was to have Lacan buy out her mother. Right, remember?
Yes.
And it happened, kinda. And the top left is that Lacan is being offered to buy one of those courtesans. The slightly hunched over white piece person is the owner, the old lady that owns the place. Said, "Oh, you can pick one of these," and then he's kind of, "Oh, but there's this other option over there," and the old lady says, "No, don't go there," and then he totally goes there because there's the love of and he's face blind.
Right.
And that has an interesting effect here, because in actuality, top right, she has horrible scabs from syphilis and whatnot.
Right.
But he's face blind, so he just sees the woman that she loves. And he cries, and he's real sad and happy that he finally found her, and he thought he was dead all along. That's proper sad, Nretsew. Proper happy, sad, good moment. And he said before, I'm going to spend like a couple thousand, 10,000 silver. That's fine. Not 100,000 though. That's a bit much.
Yeah, a little bit too much. Yeah.
And then she sees his love again. Woman, I'll spend 300,000. I don't care. I will buy her. Proper sad, proper happy, emotional moment. And so he's throwing not a apparently it's customary for if somebody gets bought out, there will be a party that the guy who's buying out will pay for in some way. So our Lacan, our man doesn't spend money for a night, not a 3-day big event. He is holding a 10-day celebration for his buyout.
Big party time. Big party time.
A full 10 days in honor of buying out her, and I assume that he's paying for the whole thing. So this is a huge moment, and very tragically, she's very, very, very ill for a very, very long time. So she probably won't survive, for a year. But Lacan is happy.
Yeah, at least he'll make that last year fun.
Yeah.
Good. Happy. Always love a happy ending.
Happy ending. And
happy ending.
And Mau, who kind of hinted towards her mom being alive and being there, doesn't actually hate Lacan all that much. But it's a guy that says, "Hey, I'm your father," after not being there for years.
Fucking ages, yeah.
So she dislikes Lacan for suddenly coming and saying that he is her father, and that has to mean something, when it doesn't mean anything to her anymore. So Lacan doesn't have a happy ending all the way, because Mau doesn't think of Lacan as her father. Just a guy that got her mother pregnant, not a caring figure, which hurts Lacan's feelings, I assume, very much so. But Lacan, as a big threat, as a big schemer, is over for foreseeable future. Lacan isn't an enemy.
Boss defeated.
Boss defeated by love.
Yeah, power of love. Sounds great. So this is the last episode of the season, is it?
Yeah. And
Mau. So what did you? Yeah. So what did you? I'll let you finish.
Final bit. Mau and Jinshi have a small moment together again, and Jinshi carries Mau, and their relationship continues. Cute. And the season ends with, "Hey, Jinshi goes, 'Hey, Mau, I have something interesting,' and Mau, of course, can't resist interesting. So she goes, 'Well, what would that be?' And season ends.
And then I think you mentioned it's getting a second season, is it?
Yes, it's already confirmed for a second season. So I'm happy.
What did you think overall then? Since again, because I think for these last episode ones, we should also talk about what was the overall. What did you overall think of the show? Basically,
I think this show is a very good continual series of mysteries and intrigue, and things like that. Most of the whole first season builds up towards a big climax, and all these little murders and mysteries and oddities and poisonings in the end are all connected, and they are all connected in a very logical way, which you believe, and that's good. That means it means something. That means that you can realize stuff at the same time as Mau, that those strange deaths are all connected, and it becomes a little murder mystery, and you're not expected to know that in advance. It's really you can join Mau in her discovery, because you discover it at the same time as her. If you are very, very familiar with medicine, you can figure out stuff before Mau or at the same time as Mau, because if you know that face whiteners were poisonous, filled with lead, you
Mm.
would be able to figure out the mystery in episode 2 or 1 before Mamo tells you. But it kind of, it's a benefit really, because if you are somehow familiar with lead face paint, then it's, oh, the show does the thing that I know. My
Yeah,
expertise.
I understood that reference. Yeah,
I understood that reference, and it's correct as well. The
Mm.
historical armor is accurate. Oh damn! They are using this historical accurate piece armor, and they actually use the historical correct fighting techniques. Oh, that's awesome! Oh, I recognize that comes from that book from that Italian guy.
Yeah, big dopamine.
Big dopamine that you see something good and it's accurate, and you point at the screen. But yeah, high praise for the diaries, and I'm happy there's a second season.
Nice.
All right.
Sounds good.
I'm not going to talk about It's Time for Torture, because it just
The same old. Really.
happy slice of life, funny. I recommend because I recommend it because it's funny.
Fun times, yeah. Fun.
And I haven't caught up on Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic or Unwanted Undead Adventure still.
Yeah.
I do think I think I have dropped on the Unwanted Undead Adventure.
Yeah.
I do want to finish this season of Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic. I'll watch 2 episodes and then it'll be done. Talk about Slave Soldier.
Yeah, because it's the final episode, so rather than kind of talk about the final episode itself, I'll just talk about Slave Soldier in general. I've mentioned multiple times that I feel like Slave Soldier is like a really interesting contrast to Magical Girls, right? Gushing over Magical Girls, in the way that it's adapted the material, because Slave Soldier, right, feels like it's playing it safe, right? It's basically just one for one copying the manga with no real deviation to the adaptation. It's very much, it almost feels like they just redrew the panels and put an anime filter on them and maybe add some animation here and there. And I think that you kind of feel that, right, in the production of it. And I think it really hurts it, because I do like the manga, right? I do like the manga. I think the art in the manga is really good. The story's a little bit, shonen, samey type, oh, new big bad, got to kill the big bad, right? Big power up, right? Big tournament arcs, big, power up, level up, right? It's very typical shonen-y, but there's nothing inherently wrong with that, right? It serves its purpose, right? As a story, and like I said, the art is really nice. It looks good. The artist does a really good job on it. But the issue is when they translate that into anime, because it feels cheap, right? It feels like it's like the. It doesn't feel like the people working on it cared a whole lot about it, because when we talk about gushing over Magical Girls, there's all these little details that they kept in from the manga that are very easy to lose in an adaptation. There's all these little kind of things that they do, and moving
I read
things
the manga,
around.
right? There are plenty of shading and stuff that I don't think would be
facial expressions on certain characters and different things. Like in Gushing Over Magical Girls, you could really feel like they tried to maintain that, but also have it so that it works better as an anime, right? Because you're dealing with a different medium. Whereas Chain Soldier, it feels like the production doesn't, like, it just feels like it was, okay, we brought production paid for, here's your paycheck, make anime, right? It doesn't feel like there's no passion, right? It doesn't feel like there's passion behind it, which is a real shame, right? Because I do think that there is something here, right? There is an interesting kind of, there is a good work hidden here, right? There could have been a good anime here, which is why I think it's very disappointing. And it's, Yeah, I think a big part of it is also the 3D CG kind of ruins it as well, because the use of the 3D CG, it's not. I wouldn't say it's like Berserk 2016 or whatever bad, right? It's
No,
not that
nothing
bad.
is anymore.
Nothing would be that bad, but it's not. It's definitely, it does detract when it's used for every single fight and every single monster, right? And every single thing. Like it really does kind of detract from
Yeah,
the
tell
overall
me,
style.
Nretsew, what is the balance, right?
I would say they overuse the CG. I think it gets overused quite a bit, and to the point where it kind of like, it's because it stands out so much in comparison to, you know, when you see the characters in 2D, right? It doesn't really mix well. Like, there are examples of it working. Like, I think Kantai Collection, the original anime, right? The original anime for that, you made heavy use of CG when it was doing the fights for that. And it never really felt like it was out of place, because they stylized the CG in such a way that it really kind of, it didn't feel like, oh, they just took like a 3D model and plastered it in a 2D environment, right? Like, it
Yeah,
felt
like
like
the dance
it felt
scene,
right.
the dance scene in episode 15 of Freerun, you know,
Mm.
Star Confirm. That all of their dancing was 3D, I believe. And
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like it's 3D, right? It
you could
feels like,
tell, but you know, then
you could tell, but it's not immersion breaking.
But
Right?
then
It
you
doesn't
see
take
the
you out
dress
of the
moving
experience.
very nicely, and then thought, oh damn, that's
Yeah.
worth the slightest discomfort
Rotoscope,
of this
yeah.
3D with
It's
if you can
gone,
see the
yeah.
dress being nice.
Yeah, Slave Soldier doesn't it doesn't benefit, right, from it, is the problem. And while I am, you know, I would like, it's really annoying, because I wouldn't say it's trash, right? Like, it's not like horribly bad. It's actually worse than that, because it's just mediocre, right? Like, if we, like, scores are gay, but if we were going to give something like this a score, it would probably be like a 5 out of 10, like a 4.5, right? Like, it's not, it's like, you can enjoy it and have a good time watching it, but there's better things to watch, you know? Like, if I had to choose between this or Gushing Over Magical Girls, I'm going to watch Gushing Over Magical Girls any day, right? Like, or I'm going to watch something else, right? Like, it's and it's such a shame, because I do, it's wasted potential in my view, because the whole premise that facilitates the lewdness, right, which is a core aspect of it, right? You know, it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting premise to have, you know, the ability of the slave ability, and how that interacts with the other characters, and all the different variations of it, and the different types of rewards based on what, you know, how the guy views the different girls, right, and all that kind of thing. I really do feel like it's a wasted opportunity. So it did get confirmed for a second season. I'm pretty sure it got confirmed for a second season, which doesn't surprise me, because there is enough manga material for it. So I'm not surprised. But yeah, I hope in the next season maybe the production values get raised a little bit, because I feel like that's what really drags this down, is there's this lack of detail and care. But anyway, if you've got any, I know you're not watching.
I just wanted
it,
to
I
mention
think,
that, you know, I don't. I mentioned it like 4 times this season. I don't. I am not watching Dungeon Meshi, because I feel like reading the manga gives you the same experience.
Yeah, and that's very much this anime to me. I think is,
Although
you're
I've
better
seen,
off just read. You are literally better off just reading the manga. You'll have a much better time.
Although I did see some fancy, Sakuga from the dragon fight, so maybe that's worth it. You know, the reviving ritual that get her name. It's been a while. The elf does. It looks also very neat. So the anime has its benefits, but as a story enjoyment, on a story enjoyment level, I haven't felt that watching the anime gave more story, enjoyment over.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree that this is definitely that to me. I think that if you are going to get into this series, you should definitely just read the manga. You'll have it's a lot faster, because you can just blitz through it, right, and read it really quick, and it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. But anyhow, what do we got? What's next on the docket? What are we
Gaming.
gaming time. We've been playing video games, Ellie.
Yeah, I've been playing more video games than I have on here, so I'll
All
keep it
right,
on
what do we got?
this.
What's first on the list? What do we got?
I'll have you do your thing.
Yeah, is it time? Is it time to shill? Is it time to become a shill? Okay, guys. The hit new game from Mica Team, who brought you Girls Frontline, is finally released. Codename Bakery Girl Reverse Collapse on Steam now, 18% off. Get it while it's hot. Okay. So I haven't actually played a whole lot of it. I haven't had the time to jump straight into it, but I played the demo exclusively, and the demo is basically the first third. Well, not third, but it's because it's like 60 missions, right?
Mhm.
Ish, I believe. So the first part of the game I've played, right? And it's fucking great. It's really good. There's a lot of strategy involved in it. I would say it's kind of like XCOM. Yeah, use your promo code, Critical Critique. Yeah. I would say there's an XCOM element to it, definitely, but it doesn't feel exactly like XCOM. It feels because there's a lot more planning. Like a lot of it is more setting up dominoes, right? Like where do you place your mines? How do you set up the turrets? How do you use the equipment that you have, right? Do you toss a grenade to kill these enemies, right? Or do you save that grenade and use it somewhere else, right? How do you utilize the skills and abilities of these characters to the best effect to finish the stage and get the high rank by completing the side objectives, right? And so on, so on, so on, so. So there's a lot of really interesting gameplay to be had in it, and it's definitely clear that they spent a lot of time thinking about, giving players the tools to come up with really interesting and creative ways to complete these levels. The story has been like what I remember from the demo. The story is fantastic. If you're into Girls Frontline and the story of Girls Frontline, you'll be very much into this. Lore-wise, it takes place 30 years after the events of Girls Frontline, and it's not directly tied to Girls Frontline, so you can jump into Bakery Girl without actually having any prior knowledge of the lore of Girls Frontline in the world, or any of that stuff. There are some reoccurring characters that so some fan favorite T-dolls show up in one mission, but you don't really need to be like me and be like a lore aficionado of Girls Frontline to get what's going on, right? It's very self-contained in that regard. And yeah, no, I'm glad it's out. It's been a long time coming. Ignore the Steam reviews because the Chinese cucks are very, very mad that they got cucked in GFL 2, so it's been getting review bombed by the Chinese. So don't if you see that it's mixed on Steam, don't worry about that. That's just because there's some drama about big cuck. Listen, Ellie, the T-doll goes off after GFL 1, meets a guy, becomes friends with the guy, comes back, we meet them again. Apparently that's NTR, right? Apparently.
I did see some reviewers giving it a positive review just to counter the negative review, so it's kind of a mess anyway over there.
Yeah, it's a mess. So yeah, I would just ignore the reviews in general and just kind of like my recommendation is to play it, because I think if we're going to talk about this from a different perspective, right? I believe it's important to support the things you want to see, right? And while I don't have as big of a stigma around gotcha gaming as a lot of people do, Ellie, I don't have as big of a problem with it. I think having Mica Team kind of just branch out, right? And be like, yeah, we're going to make gotcha games, but also here is like a passion, because this is a passion project, right? Because it's a remake of their original RPG Maker game, right? Because the original Bakery Girl was an RPG Maker Wolf Engine type game, right? And they made and so this is kind of a labor of love passion project for them that they've put out. And look, it's relatively cheap. It's not like it's a full priced $60 game with a gazillion microtransactions like Capcom's Dragon's Doo-Doo 2, right? It's a reasonably priced independent title from a developer that I really like, and I really want to see it do well because I want to see them put out more games like this, right? I want to see more of these standalone games that are not gotchas, right? These ongoing hyper narrative stories, right? This is a more self-contained, here's your experience, have fun, right? And they were working on on another one of these types of games, but it sadly got cancelled, and I'm not sure why. It was probably because there was a period in Micah's history where they got big investment, and I think they kind of overstepped their like how much resources they had, basically. Because I think GFL2 kind of took up a lot of the development resources on some of these smaller projects they were planning to do, which is why they kind of shelved them. Which I think is understandable, to be honest. But hopefully, if Bakery Girl does well enough, right, I want it to be like proof that these kind of smaller AA types titles can succeed in the market still, and it's not just everything has to be gotcha, right? Because who the fuck's got the time? Who the fuck has the time to play gotcha, all of these gotcha games, right? Like, I mean, I barely have enough time to, right? So, yeah, definitely go check out Bakery Girl, right? I call it Bakery Girl, but it's reverse COLAPCE, codename Bakery. But the original title was Bakery Girl, so everyone just calls it Bakery Girl, right? Go check it out, see if it's for you, maybe pick it up, have a good time, right? There we go. Shilling done. I've done my shilling.
So I'm going to do something that doesn't... Well, it's kind of hard to shill when it's free. I'm going to talk about a game called Half-Earth Socialism.
You're not beating the allegations, Ali. You're not beating the allegations.
I was playing Helldivers a lot, and I was fighting for a fascist dictatorship kind of deal.
Oh, did you hear that you're not allowed to have sex anymore because you guys failed the
yes,
the
it's
order.
a shame.
So you're not allowed to have sex. Sex has been banned.
My reproductive permits.
Rights have been taken away. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I'll let you continue.
Yeah,
talk about your
socialism, right? I saw an image, an entry on Steam for Half-Earth Socialism. Well, that's kind of a weird title, socialism. Right on in the title. I'll click on it to see what it is, and what it was a free sim, a big kind of a management game, and I'm up for a management game, a free management game. I'm totally up for it, and it's fun. It's also does something that I've kind of been wanting for a while. It's kind of a society sim, Stellaris and Civilization and Millennia is coming out soon. All have this big emphasis on economy, right? You have economy, and that produces production and wealth, and with production and wealth you can make armies, and with armies you defeat the enemy, and with put production into research, and with research you can have more production. And somewhere it kind of felt boring at some point when society is all about just increasing production and nothing else. So I was wondering anyway, how would a society civilization type-ish game look like when production isn't the focus, when producing more isn't your goal? Well, half of socialism goal is to do a couple of things. First off is to stop global warming. Just stop it outright. It's also to make sure that the biosphere doesn't collapse. So no mass extinctions.
That would be bad. Yeah,
that would be bad.
Kind of a bad thing.
Also, those are your two goals, right? No mass extinctions. The Earth doesn't burn anymore. For that, you have two other metrics. One is that you can't have your social capital drop below 0. Otherwise, you have no social capital left to against a takeover. And another is that the people have to be happy with you to some extent.
Yeah, because
Yeah. So right now, let me pause real quick. One of those. Oh, hey.
Yep. Oh, big. We've got meat. Oh, no, nuclear fusion, plague therapy. Solar C,
Here.
solar PV.
Wait. I hope this is pause. This one. Yeah. Celery meat. Nretsew. The consumerist is kind of a representative of an entire class of people of a belief, and the consumerist is the absolute worst.
Right.
Because the consumerist, anything you do, right, Nretsew, do you like an isolated home?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The
It's pretty nice to
consumerist
have
hates it.
Oh, well, that's a shame. That's that's a problem.
Nretsew, do you want electric cars?
Fun fact: they've been rolling out electric buses where I'm at.
Yeah.
Right now. I've been on them. They're quite cool. They're actually
Yeah.
quite
The
quite
consumerist
fun to
hates
ride
them.
on. Oh, well, that's a shame.
The consumerist is a bitch. I hate the consumerist. But yeah, also, cellular meat. Very interesting, right? You don't have to have animals anymore, and massive swathes of land and feed and whatnot, and antibiotics and all the stuff. Consumerist also hates it. So I hate the consumerist. But yeah, you have research that researches stuff like nuclear fusion and make sure you don't have you have an antibiotic left in the world and output of your solar.
Pretty important stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have stuff like when you start a game, you have your energy mix, and getting rid of all your fossil fuels and putting it all in solar or windmills or whatnot is far better because it doesn't pollute the air anymore. It helps with against water use, and although solar takes up land, you have a lot more land to play with than Earth pollution, so it's all fine in the end. Oh yeah, Jake, you can be a weird ass World Economic Forum simulator if you want to.
You will eat the bugs. You will live in the pod.
Well, because you kind of see on those cars, right? There's a gray that's unhappy with everything you do except petroleum power generation. You have the ecologists that likes wind and solar. You have the optimist that also likes wind and solar. The authoritarian likes nuclear. The accelerationist likes nuclear. Because and if you do enough stuff for the accelerationists, you get a small buff to the things you do. Like if you side with the accelerationists,
it's all kind of juggling these different.
Yeah, you juggle your happiness because people aren't all that happy if you say people eat less meat. It's better for everybody if you eat less meat, and people aren't happy to eat less meat, so that takes a little bit of your happiness. But then people get happy again when there's no pollution anymore and everybody's healthier. Asthma is eradicated because you're not constantly bombarded with microparticles in exhaust pipes. And then people are happy again. So, but it's half Earth socialism. It's on Steam. It's free.
Give it a go.
It's not a long game. And I played it because it had the name socialism in it. That was interesting on its own.
Never beating the allegations.
I'll play some Helldivers for you if you want to get happy.
Play some Hell. No, play Bakery Girl. That would make me more.
Oh, anyway. But yeah, a society for a civilization type game where one of the option is to gut the rich north of the world and boost the south. Just big redistribution of wealth. So,
Right.
so come to the
So-
pod. Jake, you might have fun playing the game. I'm big into big society kind of management games anyway.
Yeah,
so
big society.
anyway, you have one last game you want to talk about. So
Yeah, I do kind of. I've been playing some of the lewd games lately. I've been playing a bit of playing and kind of completed the main story of the Papers Please, except you can there's sex. It's Papers Please with sex, right? So Imperial Gatekeeper, it's pretty old. It's been out for a while, but I've had it for a while, but I kind of on a whim was like, I might as well give it a bit more of a go, right? Play it a bit more intensely, and it's actually pretty enjoyable for a simple, RPG Maker Papers Please clone, right? There's you've got some lovable characters, right? That come in and there's a little bit of a story and a plot that was kind of surprising that's also going on. And yeah, so the general gist of it is, to get into the actual gameplay, it is very much just Papers Please. You work at the checkpoint, people come into the checkpoint and you have to look at their documents and go, oh, is there any discrepancies here or whatever.
Yeah, one pass on Nretsew.
Yeah.
Just, Jake, half of socialism is turn-based. You set up policies, you set up things, and then you press 5 years pass, and then you get results. So it's not a reaction. You don't have any reaction.
Reaction-based, yeah.
Continue.
So, yeah, so Imperial Gatekeeper, yeah, it's very much a... Yeah, you have to basically just pay attention and know what you have to look out for. Make sure they have a weapon permit if they need to have a weapon permit. Make sure the numbers match. Make all of that. But the thing that differentiates it from Papers Please, in a sense, is you can sexually assault people, basically, right? Yeah, fun. Yeah, you get to grope people. You get there's the bars, and you have to you raise the bar, and then you get them aroused enough, then you can start having sex with them, and there's this whole thing around that. There's certain mission or certain stages where there are different conditions around what you can and can't do, what lowers points, what doesn't lower points, right? And yeah, it's a fun little experience, I'd say. Definitely a lot more in depth than I thought it was going to be, right? Like it definitely has a lot more going on mechanically, with all the different sort of stuff. You will find that because all of the kind of characters and NPCs are sort of generated based on a pool, right? It's random sort of generation.
This kind of body with this kind of hair with this hair color.
Yeah.
Five hair colors.
So you're gonna see the same kind of person a lot, right?
Although
you're gonna see the same.
I did appreciate that you can kind of save a generated.
You can, yeah. There is an item you get later in the game that lets you save just a save one, and then of course once you beat the game, you get access to all the cheats. And I'm in the post game now where you get some events based. I'm not going to spoil what happens in it, but you get some events after the game. You beat the story of the game, you unlock a bunch of extra little goodies. So yeah, and yeah, it's just a really fun experience. You can kind of get lost just kind of sitting there, just sort of not even doing anything lewd. You can just kind of sit there and kind of
do your actual
job. Yeah, do your actual job. Yeah, like it's actually kind of fun in that respect. But of course, obviously the sexual harassment, getting to play around with people, and it's interesting because it's it's not just girls either, right? There's men that come through. So if you wanted to be gay or bi or whatever, you can have fun with all genders equally, right?
Mm.
All of them. Equality, Ellie. Pure equality. Everyone gets sexually harassed at the checkpoint. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I think it goes on sale quite often on you can get it on Steam. I think it's on DL side as well, right? So it's on
I got it on the side. That's
yeah, Kagura Games has it published with English, so you can get the patch from Kagura Games. And when you can buy it from Kagura Games as well directly, I think, because they have a storefront now, don't they? So you can get it from there if you don't want it. Although you can private games on your Steam library now, so it's not that big of an issue as it used to be. But if you wanted to buy it, it's available.
Yeah,
and I would recommend checking it out because it's a small game. It doesn't take that long to play a few rounds of it and kind
just
of
remember to private your Steam cards as well.
Yeah, private your Steam cards. Yeah, because you'll get Steam cards from it, and then that'll be how you get exposed and cancelled for playing lewd games. But it's a short. Short. It's not short because it took me like about a week or two to get through it, just playing it on and off, right? To get through all of it. So there's plenty of content there. Like, what's my hours like on it right now? I might just go check because
it's like
I played about 4 hours in the last 2 weeks. So and that's probably about a 4 to 5 hour experience. If you really grind at it. So yeah, it's fine. It's good. So anyhow, is that all we've got?
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Or have you been playing?
Oh yeah, I could mention stuff like Loop Hero and Helldivers, and I'm playing the. I'll quickly mention. Have you heard of the Dragon Isle Roars?
No, I don't think so.
Game. Everything is made out of is a card. Table is set, and the path you walk on is cards, and if it's a wood, if it's a forest, it's a forest card. If it's a grass field, it's a grass field card. In the city, there's a paved town square card and a house card and a shop card, and they're all placed like a map, and it's made by Yoko Taro. And it you can tell because
it's got his flair to it. Yeah.
It is flair to it because it's stuff like the main character you play as is an asshole. You want to be a nice guy, a good guy, and the only answer is don't care, die, see you later. For a person you want to, oh, can you help me? No, I'm busy some other time. Those are your options. And then, oh goddamn, I'm playing a terrible person. And there are all these hints of there's a big organization of the ivory cloaks that apparently control all the medicine in the world, which is iffy. Sounds iffy. In Nretsew, there's an organization that produces all the medicine in the world, in this nation. And the people that you meet of them are all assholes all the time. People that give you your medicine if you're sick are mean to you.
Are bad. Ooh. Oh,
and
no.
Then there's stuff like quick. This girl has a children's drawing book kind of deal. And then you learn something a little bit more about her and them. Her mother is dead. And there's a line that says something like, the sketchbook is upside down. The rainbow bleeds. Like, some good old fashioned Yoko Taro, quick, 3 sentences long maximum sadness.
Right.
This
Good
man
good-
promised to be faithful forever. He sits by the bed of his wife, continuing that promise.
Big Yoko Taro
Big
depression.
Yoko Taro experience. So I've been playing it, and I feel like I've been playing it for like 3 hours maximum, and I feel like I'm somewhere around the halfway mark. It's on the sale on the Steam right now. It's for 15 euros. So
Right.
15 euros for Yoko Taro ass experience writing wise. I'm in.
Yeah.
It also has very good art, so that helps.
All right. Well, I think
Also
that
Loop
just
Hero,
about
but
does it.
Loop Hero is old. You
Loop
you
Hero's
can know
Loop
what
Hero.
Loop Hero is.
All right. Well, I guess that kind of does it. Shall we talk about next week? Because we're thinking
Yeah.
next week's going to be an anime only episode of the cast, because obviously we're coming up to the new season, so we are probably going to do a seasonal review. We'll talk about what's coming up, what we're going to be probably watching, what we think could be interesting, all that fun stuff, right? And of course talk about the episode, show Magical Girls, maybe Solo Leveling, if there's anything else that's not ended that we're watching.
I don't think that
we
Solo
can talk about.
Leveling. I don't feel.
No,
like it
Solo
is.
Leveling's got about 2 or 3 more episodes, I think, because it started later in the season.
Yeah.
So but there's a few more. Solo Leveling's not going to be done next week, but we can talk about, we can talk about at least Magic, almost everything else. Yeah. So it'll be kind of like a, I mean, we talked about our final thoughts on some of the shows already this cast, but next cast we'll kind of talk about, final episode of Magical Girls, what's coming up next season, what we think is going to be fun, all that fun,
Oh yeah,
fun good
and
stuff.
like Konosuba and Mushoku Tensei, and
there's a lot. There's a lot of fun stuff coming up next season to talk about. So we'll definitely have a lot to talk about. So we will catch you boys next time.
Yeah.
Later. Oh, is my audio still working? Ellie wants you to know you can go buy the Yoko Taro games in a bundle thing on the Steam, so whatever. There you go.
Yeah, alright, yeah. They're all in a bundle on Steam, so if you want to buy them for a little bit cheaper, you can.